You know it's this. Take a perk and a talk of that shit. Money swallowing like sis. Did it perfect in the kid. Got a billion who sang on my head. Look up better put on the road I just spent. I know we got $1 million. The devil that shit ain't not cheaper again.
Hello and welcome back, fellow anime lovers, to MangaMuse. I am delighted to have you join us once again in the world of fanfiction and fantasy. This is the 15th part of What If Naruto Enters Witch? Special note, this fanfic is written and a masterpiece of pyrohelixdrago, co-written with KFB Anime 87 on fanfiction.net. Do check and support the author too. Now smash the like, share and subscribe button for more. Also press the bell icon so that you never miss such great parts. Thanks for the introduction. Now let's dive into the world. Few days later. Getting real sick of these double dates, mom will said as she, her mom, her teacher, and boyfriend were currently at the pier eating dinner. What's wrong with them? Susan asked, wondering why it was a bother as she enjoyed spending time with Phil Collins, her daughter, and her daughter's boyfriend. I miss dating my boyfriend when it's just us, Will said as she and the others had a schedule for dating Naruto and her mother was killing that time. I bet, Susan said as she read her daughter's diary from time to time when she was bored and knew she liked to kiss Naruto from hours on end. And what are you accusing me of? Will asked with a raised eyebrow. This is gonna get good, Naruto thought as it was always a show when Will and Susan got into any sort of fight or argument. Nothing except my daughter might be acting indecent, Susan said accusingly. That's rich coming from my mom who buys certain reading material, Will said with a smirk sending Naruto a side glance. They both glared at one another so hard one could actually see sparks looking hard enough. Susan blushed and walked away, Collins following soon after her. Okay, besides the fact your mom is a fan, are you really gonna mess with her all night? Naruto asked with a smirk as he found this funny. I mean, you're her daughter and what have one more year left of high school. After this she wants to spend time with you, he said as she knew Susan loved Will and cherished their time together. Will sighed and accepted it as she knew he was right like always. Hour later at Susan's apartment. They double date was now watching a movie, silently enjoying it, but had to pause as someone knocked at the door. Ugh, I got it, Will said walking up to the door, and when she opened it she took a step back in shock. Dad, she said, getting everyone's attention. SHT, was the collective thoughts of the three other participants of the double date. Few minutes later. I swear this is not how I saw today going, Naruto thought as Tony Vandom, Will's father, was currently inside talking to his daughter. Will felt a little internal conflict as she was on a double date with her mom and her dad just arrived. This situation just screamed weird and uncomfortable. Hey Dad, this is Naruto, my boyfriend, she said out of nowhere, hoping the situation would get less weird. Pleasure, Tony said as he extended his hand. Naruto shook the hand but felt something as he didn't feel anything dark but something corrupt from the man, making him worried for his girlfriend and how this might affect her since this was her father, Naruto Namikaze, he said, introducing himself. Firm grip, Tony said, complimenting Naruto. Thanks, Naruto said, faking a smile. In the mountains. F. Nigel screamed out in rage as the cops put out a warrant for his arrest, meaning he couldn't go back to his regular life and was suddenly hit with water courtesy of the dead guardian spirit Casey. It's your own fault, Narissa said as when she found out, and actually laughed as it was both smart and a little spiteful on Naruto's part. That PP has been a thorn in my side for the last time, Nigel said, just about to leave wanting to kill Naruto. You are out of your league, Narissa said as she knew if she didn't pick locations where people could be hurt Naruto would have decimated them. Oh yeah? Nigel said arrogantly, not realizing how powerful Naruto was. Yes, and you won't be going anywhere, Narissa said, unleashing a blast of lightning making kneel down in pain. I can make this easy or painful, she said as she stopped her electrical assault. If you act without my orders I won't kill you, I'll take your power and leave you to the police, and who knows, maybe I'll add a few more crimes to your ledger, she said as she smirked as she saw the fear in his eyes. Next day. So can you do it? Naruto asked the oracle as he was asking a huge favor from the man as he handed the man a medium small box. Yes, it'll be done quickly, I might add, the oracle said with a truly genuine smile. So how's it going with Blanc and Caleb? Naruto asked as Blanc came to steal and Caleb came to train. Well, we've dealt with Paslings before and Caleb has not destroyed much, the oracle said as Blanc stole a few meaningless things, rarely stole anything of value, and Caleb destroyed much and did much damage from time to time. Alright, I'll be back later. Me and the girls are helping Cornelia with a car wash, Naruto said as it was a fundraiser and she basically begged them all to help. He then created a fold and took off. Bold move, young man, the oracle said, opening the box and sent some magic into it, finishing what he thought would take longer. Quickly, he was brought out of his thoughts when a loud roar was heard. In the distance, Narissa was planning on attacking Kandrakar but was surprised as someone else was attacking it. So are we still attacking? Sandra asked boredly as she didn't see the point. Yes, Narissa said, not wanting this to stop her plan for the attack. With Naruto. Really wish we can wear something sexier, Irma said, wearing a bikini top and short shorts like the other girls. Pretty sure this fundraiser would then become an emergency BLD drive, Naruto said as he was sure he'd lose BLD seeing his girls like that. Few minutes later. Pretty sure I chose to be on the wrong side of this fundraiser, Naruto said as he cleaned some cars and watched his girls clean cars, and he had to admit it was definitely RSNG. I can certainly say you did, Will said coming up from behind him. Me and the girls would have given you a hell of a show, she said teasingly. F my life, Naruto thought, hating himself for not thinking about it when he signed up for this. I like that idea, Hey Lin said to Irma as they were listening closely. We'll wash his car privately, Irma said with a smirk, and with much less clothing, she said with a smirk. PSSS, Blanc said, hissing at Naruto. You hate water and soap. You being here makes this seem pretty bad, Naruto said as Blanc was filth addict. Few minutes later. Okay, we all have our clones, Naruto asked as he told all the girls to make clones. Yeah, let's go, Will said, creating a fold. Kandrakar. Get down. Naruto yelled, going into chakra mode, and created giant hands covering them as a torrent of flames attacked them. The F is that? Irma asked as they were being attacked. I might have some guesses, Naruto said as he saw through his hands and saw a red dragon, a green one, a navy blue one, a whitish silver one, and finally he saw Abner. Something's wrong, I can sense their power, it's off, he said, mainly sensing Abner knowing his power best. Guys, Cornelia said, looking through Naruto's hands, seeing a boulder coming their way, and when it broke against his hands and saw the Knights of Destruction. We're being attacked on two fronts. What do we do? Elian asked curiously. We'll need to split up. These are clearly the 4 dragons, Naruto said, surprising them. We'll need to split up. Me and Cornelia will take to the sky. We're the only ones who can go toe to toe. Physically, he said as his chakra mode and her super strength were the only thing that could take on the dragons. Hey Lin, and we'll look for the members of the council, gather them to the Oromir's room. That's probably the reason Narissa is here, he said, getting nods. The rest of you girls take on the knights, he said as they split up. I've been dying for a rematch, Elian said, glaring at the knights. Ditto, Terene said as she owed Nigel some payback. With Will. Can you tell me how this happened? Will said as she found the oracle and Hey Lin found the mage. Luba betrayed us, the oracle said as he leaned on Will as he couldn't stand properly. Of course the cat bee Will thought as she hated that woman as she talked trash about Naruto. How? Hey Lin said as they were guiding all the members they found minus Halaner as she seemingly disappeared and was unable to be found. She freed the 4 dragons from their prisons, the oracle said, seeing the looks of surprise. They've been locked up since the Emperor, Hey Lin asked, the story still fresh in her mind. And you knew? Will asked, rethinking how they should trust the council. No, or not in the way you think, the oracle said, getting confused looks. The dragons have been locked away so long throughout the years my predecessors thought they had perished, he said, feeling very guilty. Well, they're good and alive. Will was saying as they entered the Oromir room as she was then sent flying along with Hey Lin by Luba as she channeled power from the Oromirs. Ah, the guardians, Luba said sarcastically as she was absorbing excess power from the heart, unable to fully take it in all at once. I swear I'm gonna kill you, Will said as she got up despite the pain she felt. Oh please, without your powers you are nothing, child, Luba said, about to release another blast at Will, but was punched in the face by Oryub. Oryub B. Hey, Lin said in surprise as she saw them. Yo, my little bro Naruto made a clone to get us for this injustice on us, B said as Naruto went and got them for this as backup. Can you free the dragons? Will asked as the Oromirs besides hers had a dark hue. No, Oryub said as Luba was in a class of her own in terms of magical skill. Might I be of assistance? Xian Jing said as she appeared. How'd you never mind, Will said, not questioning the nymph's arrival. With Naruto. Come on Abner, Naruto said as he fought his friend, Kurama. Anything you can do would be a big help, he asked the tailed beast. Kurama sighed as he knew one dragon Naruto could handle even two, but five was insane to take on. Bind our chakra, he said, extending his fist through the cage. Naruto didn't question it as he bumped fists with Kurama and a surge of power caught everyone's attention. With will. Amazing, Xian Jing thought as she worked on removing the power Luba put on the dragon's Oromirs. With the knights. The Knights of Destruction fell to the ground as they couldn't handle such positive energy. Elyon, Irma, Terane, and Caleb, who they found engaging with the knights, took advantage and attacked them, but not before glancing at the light. Whoa, Cornelia said, unable to comprehend Naruto's power, and even after all this time she felt the gap between him and her and the girls become even wider. With Naruto. Naruto was inside a chakra manifestation of Kurama's fox body and began to beat each and all the dragons. None of them were able to stand up to their combined power and soon created clones, full-sized copies of his form, to restrain the dragons and smaller ones to assist the others. With will. Alright, they're down, Will said, watching Naruto fight, knocking the dragons and knocking them unconscious. Something's wrong, Xian Jing said as she was working on the sixth Oromir but was having difficulty. Alright, while you work on that, how do we deal with the knights? Will asked as they almost finished off conflict and had a second one. Maybe the veil, the mage suggested. Yes, a small veil may work, the oracle said with certainty, but it'll require a lot of power, he said firmly. Power I can do, a Naruto clone said, walking in his new chakra mode. Let's us all combine our power, the oracle said as a few members of the council, Naruto's clone, and the mage pooled in their power magic tethers connecting to a person closest to them. You fools, the mage said as she then appeared to be Narissa, the tethers becoming black. OSHT, the Naruto clone thought, not being able to dispel as the power of the tethers was somehow keeping him from doing so. What's this? Narissa said as she was planning on imprisoning the council, but the tethers' colors were changing colors rapidly, almost like a rainbow, and soon created a large pulse of magic and chakra. Sensei, we've convinced this area for 2 weeks and nothing, Sakura said as Kakashi and Irika were at the location Naruto disappeared. Sakura, the toads contacted us when the Ninetales key disappeared, Kakashi said as Lord Fukusaku came here personally to inform them, and he wasn't gonna let his sensei's son stay missing. And if Naruto summoned him, he has to be somewhere, Irika said in worry as Naruto was a person he considered a brother, maybe even a son. Before anything could be said, a tear in the very air only feet above them open up, let out a fierce amount of power eating them in as they tried to escape its pull, but when they got 8 in, the tear closed. With Naruto. I'm gonna kill you, the Naruto clone said as he felt unstable from the surge of power. Narissa teletransported to Luba, siphoning all her power, but before all Luba's power was drained, Narissa smiled as she stared Luba in the face. I remember how you looked down on us when me and the others became guardians, but I want you to know before you die that you sunk to my level, but to an even worse degree, because you think you could kill everyone and manipulate people you chose into puppets. She asked, not getting an answer as Luba had a fearful look on her face as she began to rapidly age and then died, and before the weakened clone could reach her she teletransported, but not before using the last of the magical energy and imprisoned the oracle and the council. Something's changed, the balance has been shifted, Xian Jing thought, feeling the very world shift as something had just occurred. F me, the Naruto clone said as he then burst. Guys, Cornelia said as she came in with the others. What's wrong? Will asked wondering what the rush was. Naruto is fighting Abner, Elian said as that caused some worry. With Naruto. SHT Naruto thought repeatedly as his and Kurama's bond lasted only a few minutes and they had limited places to use that form and even lesser places to actually use it without reshaping the landscape. Abner fired a massive beam of light directly at Naruto as they continued their aerial fight. SHT Naruto thought once again as he was glad his chakra mode protected him before it then faded as he knew Abner's light burned intensely. Without chakra mode I have zero protection from his light. I need to end this now, he thought, wondering how Abner was still like this. With the others. What do you mean you can't do anything? Will yelled at the nymph. Abner's Oromir connected to Elian is new to the heart, a brand new connection which I can't properly work on, and Luba being the one who made it and is currently dead, our options are limited. Xi and Jing said sadly, being unable to help Abner as she met him a few times in the beginning. We need to help Naruto stop him, Elian said as she and the others were about to assist, but the nymph created a barrier. You cannot face Abner, his light is as fast as actual light, if it hits you you will die, Xi and Jing said as she knew Abner in this state would kill them. What's affecting his Oromir? Elian asked curiously. Darkness, Xi and Jing said, getting everyone's attention as the irony was clearly there with Abner being light. I was able to remove it from the other Oromirs but it went to Abner's, but this is no ordinary darkness. Luba stole it from Phobos, she said, surprising all the girls. How? Phobos is locked up under constant guard, Elian asked, as even though Phobos was unable to move his body she had all his limbs restrained and the only contact he had was with trusted soldiers as they only gave him hospital-like treatment. I am unaware, I am wise not all-knowing, Xi and Jing said as she was always trying to be ahead of the serb but was sometimes surprised, but I can't remove it, she said as she rarely met anything this difficult. What if I absorb it? Elian said, getting surprised looks from the others. Phobos tried taking all of my power when I became queen but I took it back and his power, maybe I can do it with this, she said, feeling a little unsure about taking in actual darkness. It may work, but Elian, this is Phobos' actual elemental power. Raw power is one thing but pure elemental power can be harmful, especially a pure opposite, Xi and Jing said as it was ironic seeing as Phobos and Elian were related but possessed opposing elements, so it may have increased her chances due to their relation. They all saw Naruto fly by fighting Abner, seeing some cuts on him and some burns. It'll be harmful if we don't stop Abner, Elian said, walking up to the Oromirs and saw that her Oromir that was connected to Abner was light at the center but was encased with darkness, and grabbed it and began to scream, black like veins appearing on her body. Elian. Cornelia said in worry, being stopped by the nymph. Elian felt the internal conflict in her body, feeling her light try to fight the darkness. I need to do this not for myself but for Naruto and Abner, she thought, as they did everything for her and helped her when she lost her power. She wasn't about to let them down now. Impressive, she's finding balance, Xi and Jing thought, impressed as to do this was an incredible feat. The black veins on Elian soon began to disappear. With Naruto. Oh come on, Naruto thought as he flew through the ruins of Kandrakar, thinking Abner wouldn't follow, but he was wrong, and due to the space and low chakra he couldn't avoid Abner's roar of light. I'm out of options, he thought, as this attack may kill him, so he needed to use his Pretapath power to absorb it, and when he started to, his body felt like it was on fire as he was absorbing a new power that was not elemental or an element the Rinnegan didn't use or couldn't break down. Abner's attack soon ended as he fell down to the ground. What happened? Naruto thought, feeling sore as Abner suddenly blacked out and crashed to the ground. An hour later. I feel like this is gonna be a new type of experience even for us, Naruto said as he and the girls were surrounded by Abner, Xi and Jing in her dragon form, and the 4 dragons. Thank you Naruto for freeing us, Abner said in appreciation. Abner thanking a human. My things have changed, Avani, a female earth dragon, said in surprise. Abner merely muttered under his breath from his crush's statement. Have to say, brat, I'm impressed, Kai said as he was the red dragon of fire, sounding a bit arrogant. Yes, thank you for freeing us, Ocean, said the female navy blue water dragon with respect and admiration. Yeah, thanks, it feels so good to be free, Aether, said a light blue male air dragon, sounding like he didn't really care, but the look on his face basically told them all he was enjoying his freedom. I feel they should be rewarded, Xian Jing said, getting nods from the others. Naruto, would you please step back, she asked as each dragon minus Abner was moving to a girl but not the one who possessed a portion of their power. Each of you has grown strong as unique individuals, so allow us to reward you, she said, summoning the Oromirs, each one going into the girl's body. The fractions of our powers are now your own. The heart is now a talisman, as you all can now transform on your own, gaining your full powers. But there is one more part to your reward. As the mix-match dragons and girls placed their hands over the girls, and the girls soon felt a sudden surge of energy in them. What did you do? Will asked curiously, feeling incredible. Naruto once explained to you all a person may possess one or two elements, Xian Jing said, getting nods from them all, surprised she was watching them. Even then, you all possess two elements, but it was blocked out by the sudden rush of our powers, she said, explaining to them. What new element do we possess? Irma asked in excitement. Will now has lightning and water, Irma water and air, Terene fire and earth, Cornelia earth and lightning, and Heilin wind and fire, Xian Jing said as she explained to the girls their new elements and saw that they were excited. What about Elyon? Naruto asked, not wanting her to feel like she was being left out in gaining a new power. I had thought of that earlier, but the young queen had solved that problem for me when she absorbed her brother's darkness element. She now possessed light and darkness, but Abner added more power to the Oromir, making her power even with them, Xian Jing said to Naruto, who nodded from the explanation. Alright, well, now that this W.I.T.C.H crazy day is over, Naruto said, thinking it was over, there is something I wanna ask you girls, he said, grabbing the box he gave the oracle earlier and opened it, and when he did the girls gasped in shock as they saw 6 rings inside, and soon they began to float to each girl, inserting themselves on the girls' ring fingers. Will's was a platinum band with an electric blue diamond, Irma's was a silver one with a sapphire-colored diamond, Terene's was a gold band with a bright orange diamond, Cornelia had a gold band with a dark green diamond, Heilin a platinum band with a light blue diamond, and Elyon had a platinum band with a pure white diamond. Yes, they all said before he could even ask the question they knew he would ask. The dragons merely chuckled at the scene but was happy for them. Few minutes later at Naruto's place. So no one will notice these rings? Will asked curiously. They walked through the fold in human form. Yeah, had Oracle lace it with the same spell for our relationship, Naruto said as he thought it would be useful. Also there are seals in the ring allowing you to seal it around your ring finger, he said, knowing the girls fought channeling their elements and fought with their fists, so he didn't want them to feel bad that their ring was damaged. So you guys want to train with your new elements? He asked as they were equipped with new elemental powers. Yes, they said, wanting to test their new elements. They then ventured to the back of the house but stopped as they saw 3 people in his backyard. No way, the girls thought as they saw Iruka, Kakashi, and Sakura. Naruto just stared at them in shock as they had the same look of shock and surprise he did. There you are, you idiot! Sakura yelled, punching him in the face, sending him crashing through his door. The girls were now really pissed now. Naruto thought as he knew this wouldn't end well at all. Naruto's house. Will yelled, unleashing a lot of lightning chakra, punching Sakura in the face. You alright, Naruto? Iruka said, sneaking past the girls and helped him up. Yeah, how'd you guys get here? Naruto asked curiously. I might be able to answer that, Kurama said mettily to Naruto. I felt something when you felt that explosion of power happened when Narissa linked up to you and the elders, with your power in trying to recreate the veil instead of keeping the other worlds separate. You attracted them instead, including our world, meaning the time displacement is probably fixed, he said, explaining to Naruto what he thought happened. Naruto thought but was glad as no one from his world could get to the other worlds, as with no veil up and no items to open the dimension meant his world was basically a one-way locked box. How are you, Naruto? Kakashi said, feeling an extreme amount of relief. Naruto was okay, but was surprised when Naruto punched him in the face. My parents send their regards, Naruto said as his parents were a little pissed with Kakashi's teaching methods when he was coming to this world. I deserved that, Kakashi said as he didn't teach Naruto much till he came back. Wait, you know? He asked in surprise. My last name is Namikaze, so yeah, I know, Naruto said, shocking Iruka, making Naruto smile in relief as he was glad the man didn't know, as it meant he didn't lie to him. So Naruto, who are they? Iruka asked, pointing to the 5 girls watching the 6th fight Sakura causing damage to his yard. My students, Naruto said, not thinking now was a good time to say he was dating, much less engaged. For 2 weeks. Kakashi asked, a highly skeptical, as the girl fighting outside was at the very least high chunin. Time worked differently here. 1 week for you guys was 6 months for me, Naruto said, surprising them. They then watched the fight between Sakura and Will. What is your problem, who are you? Sakura said, a small bruise on her face. The name's Will and I'm here to kick your butt for all the times you laid your abusive hands onto Naruto. Will said, seeing nothing but red. Naruto has been talking bad about me. Sakura said, thinking out loud in surprise that the boy who had been crushing on her for years would do such a thing. Wow, and I was gonna confess to him, she said absent-mindedly. You love Naruto? Will asked, feeling very skeptical. No, I was going to tell him that to get him to forget about the promise he made to me about Sasuke, Sakura said, as in the 2 weeks Sasuke attacked the 5 Kage summit and she failed to kill him, but knew if she saw Naruto she'd need to tell him she loved him to stop him. So you're telling me you were willing to play with his feelings so he wouldn't have to keep some bullshit promise you made to him? Will said, the lightning around her body increasing. Everyone felt something hearing that. The girls felt anger towards Sakura and worry for Naruto. Kakashi and Iruka felt disappointment towards Sakura as they felt she was better than playing with someone's feelings, especially a comrade. Naruto felt a slight increase in his breathing and heart as he felt some very hard emotional pain that it was affecting him physically, and just as he felt like was gonna throw up or pass out, he remembered the year he spent the good and the bad, but focused on the women he loved and felt the rhythm of his heart return to normal. Kakashi became curious as he knew Naruto was having a panic attack, but decided to let it run its course as it wouldn't kill a person, but he noticed Naruto calmed down on his own. That requires a very rational mind, he thought, as he had panic attacks in the past from his wartime but learned mental techniques to manage them. But seeing Naruto calm down made him think something else was at play, as there were many unique ways to stop it, and wondered what Naruto's was. Few minutes later. Naruto was currently breaking out the heavy sake he had by and started pouring himself a large glass as everyone was in the living room. Looks being exchanged. I swear someone is gonna die, he thought, not knowing when someone, most likely the women, as their looks were most heated as Sakura was healing her bruises and will just poured alcohol on her wounds. So nice to meet you all, my name is Iruka Umino, Iruka said, introducing himself, wanting to defuse the tension. I'm Elian Brown, that's Will Vandom, Irma Lair, Taryn A. Cook, Cornelia Hale, Hey Lin, Naruto's fiancés, Elian said, making Naruto sigh as she didn't know the bomb she just dropped. You pervert. Sakura said, going to bash Naruto in, but was sent flying into a wall by Cornelia. Really starting to love super strength from this side of things, Naruto thought, as anything that saved his, as he was grateful for. Can you please not damage my house anymore, he said as he had to pay all these repairs, and then felt a hug from Kakashi as he was crying from his visible eye. I'm so proud, Kakashi said, sounding like was sobbing. Here is one of VERYYYY's golden edition books, go fetch, Naruto said as Kakashi ran after the book he threw a good distance away. Naruto, you're engaged? Iruka said in shock. As of an hour ago, yes, Naruto said, sending a smile to the girls who all blew a kiss to him. Iruka merely smiled in joy from that, glad his little brother found love, albeit with multiple women, a dream many wish they had. So I'm assuming you're all moving to the Leaf? Sakura asked, pulling herself out the wall, glaring at Cornelia, but was glared at right back by said girl and the others. The girls were deadly silent as they looked at Naruto, knowing this was something he needed to say. They're not going to the Leaf, and neither am I, Naruto said, seeing Sakura, Kakashi, and Iruka gain shocked looks. This, no, they're my home, he said, as home was where the heart was and the girls he loved was his home. Kakashi and Iruka didn't know what to say as this literally rocked their worlds as Naruto's dream his promise was something he put his life on the line for all the time to hear him basically say he was giving up on it was baffling to them. You're just gonna abandon the leaf? Sakura asked in shock. I actually have a life here where I'm not treated like a monster or a tool, Naruto said calmly as Iruka and Kakashi frowned at that as that was true for most of Naruto's life and even though he was now a hero in the leaf now he probably wouldn't trust them as the emotional scars he had ran deep from all the types of abuse he suffered from. You selfish idiot. You're willing to become a rogue ninja. What happened to defiant fighting for your dreams? Sakura said angrily. Watch it Pinky or I'll lock you in my dungeon, Elian said making Kakashi and soon Iruka realize she must have been royalty, but what caught everyone's attention and kinda scarred them was Naruto laughing a little. I'm selfish? Naruto asked Sakura walking up to her with a look that made her nervous. What about Sasuke? He said making everyone tense as they knew this would get real. What about when I and the retrieval team almost died to rescue him and he didn't care and stabbed me multiple times? What about when he joined Orochimaru and committed God knows what? What about when he tried to stab me before your very eyes, and what about him not even returning to the leaf? Let me guess he wants to kill everyone in the leaf now, he said his voice slightly increasing in answer with each statement and point made. Sakura was silent as she had no way whatsoever to refute his points or even defend Sasuke as all the acts he committed just one would call for death to just anyone in the elemental nations. Yo bro, B said as he entered the house and realized who was there. He said seeing Naruto pass him a glass full of sake. Naruto, I think we need to discuss what's been going on with both of us, Kakashi said as he could tell they weren't in the elemental nations and began to explain the oncoming war but with the disappearance of both 8 and 9-tailed beast the nations assumed it was on hold as Madara made no actions but the nations still prepared. Well tough luck Scarecrow, we literally have our own SHT to deal with, Irma said as dealing with a madman on top of a madwoman wasn't appealing to them. Naruto then explained his time here and be helping with the details as it was a hard thing to accept. Can't you just send them home? Cornelia asked curiously. Yeah, use the Rinnegan, Terane said as she thinks sending them home was the best course of action. The three-leaf ninja froze at the mention of the legendary visual Kekii Genkai as Naruto fought someone with it. They were a little afraid of what he, the person who won the fight against the Rinnegan user, could do with the eyes. May as well, Naruto said as even though this was somewhat nice he wanted this awkwardness to be over and as he opened a fold it closed on itself. Okay, maybe not, he said as he then remembered the small veil sphere with the council members he couldn't break as it was mostly made of Narissa's magic, meaning she was the only one that could open it. The small veil in Kandrakar is preventing me from opening a portal there, so till Narissa is handled these three are stuck here, he said hearing groans from B and everyone from this world. Very welcoming, Sakura said under her breath. You do know us killing you is still very much the preferred option, right? Will said as when they saw Naruto's memories they hated this girl and the leaf. Stop, there's been enough damage to my house, Naruto said needing to repair this as soon as possible, and please don't kill them, trust me the choice may be easy to do but hard to live with, he said knowing from experience. Alright, hey Lin said still glaring at Sakura. You three, there's a ship on the shore, it ain't going anywhere, Naruto said as he put multiple seals on it and had a seal with the keys to it on his body. Why not here? Sakura said as she had to admit the place seemed a little odd but very nice. Because flat chest, we intend to share our fiancé's bed, so unless you'd like to get no sleep I'd take the ship, Cornelia said cockily as the leaf ninja blushed and Kakashi gained a perverted look on his face. Everyone was easy to spot even behind his mask and headband. They all soon went to said ship. Did you ever wash the ship? Elian asked as they did a lot of stuff on the ship that some people would think they should burn it. Naruto was silent as he was trying to recall if they did that. Oh my god! Sakura yelled, which sounded like a banshee screaming. B, I think my ears are bleeding, Irma said surprised the glass didn't break. Naruto chose to walk away wanting to avoid both Sakura and Kakashi-sensei as one would likely kill him and the other one he was afraid would give any acknowledgement for what he did on that ship. Few days later. Alright, here I got you all documents, Naruto said as he went to Yenlin for fake documents for all of them, as if they were caught with him having them they'd be dealing with the cops again. And Kakashi, I got some documents forged saying you were a burn victim and it's on the lower part of your face, he said as Kakashi was most likely to attract most attention as he never took off his mask. Next day. I swear I am so filled with rage right now I wanna scream, Will said as they were all currently in Naruto's car, some of the girls sitting on another's lap in the back while Sakura sat in the front. Join the club, the other girls said as they weren't uncomfortable as they did this a lot and sometimes enjoyed it but couldn't fully enjoy it with Sakura here. I need a new car, Naruto said as he needed a vehicle to hold a lot of people. Sakura didn't even know what to make of this world as she was like a child seeing the big city for the first time. This does not bode well, Tony Vandom said as he had hired a detective to spy on Naruto, and to add to his benefit the man looked into Naruto but could find anything from before or after that he could use to break him up with his daughter. He didn't hate Naruto and it wasn't for personal reasons he wanted to break them up. He had made a deal for a lot of money to get his daughter together with a potential business partner's son. Guess I'm gonna have to make some stuff up, he thought, hiring some professional artists and computer techs and a few photographers. In the distance, Tony Vandom didn't realize that he was being watched like a wounded prey by someone or something craving his BLD. At school. So we're still on for tonight? Irma asked the group as they had a job setting up for the concert tonight. Yeah, I don't know how this is gonna work with Pinky with no brain, Cornelia said pointing to Sakura who glared, not getting the deeper meaning on the words used. Well, we'll need to leave her at the house or dash, Naruto was saying till they walked to class. Seeing Irika, how the F are you here? He asked as Yenlin didn't have enough pull to fake college records. I asked Will, Irika said simply. Naruto looked at Will who looked a little nervous. She used her powers to mess with the system, he thought, as that was the only thing he could assume. Is Kakashi here? He asked feeling like he need to. No, Yenlin said he is working at your bookstore, Irika said unable to believe Naruto, a child who fought against reading, owned a bookstore. All the pawn he can read and he's being paid for it. Clever bstrd, Will and Terane thought, the other girls sharing their opinion, just not the clever part. Few hours later. I'm sorry, are you telling me Narissa, the psycho bee who has been with us trying to kill us, is Caleb's mother? Naruto asked Blunk as he came here, telling them as Caleb went on the search for his mother. Blunk said in the affirmative. Everyone felt bad for Caleb at that moment. Explain some things, Hey Lin said, remembering the time Raythor almost killed Caleb, or when Kisame ripped all those men to shreds, but not Caleb when he was trying to escape Cedric. Why haven't you just finished Narissa, Naruto? Sakura asked as Naruto was powerful and Narissa sounded like a joke. Because everywhere she's fought so far has been in areas where there would be many casualties, but now that it's her and her knights I can take her down, Naruto said as he couldn't take her out now seeing that she was his Caleb's mother. Listen, we need clones here, Caleb needs our help, he said as everyone made clones and followed Blunk through a fold to Meridian, then to Caleb. I swear I'm gonna kill you, Caleb said with tears down his eyes as he was face to face with his Valkyrie, who then turned into his girlfriend Alchemy. It's her, Caleb, Narissa said as she kidnapped Alchemy and made her a knight, thinking her along with Matt would be useful attaining chakra information, as even though Kisame was smart with the other elements, with the information she got from his soul fragment she took, Naruto was an encyclopedia of knowledge. No, it's not, Caleb said as he knew he was lying to himself, but the emotionless look on his girlfriend's face made his heart ache with pure pain. She's telling the truth, Caleb, Naruto said walking into the cave. I'm not here to fight, he said as nothing good would come from it. This is a brand new low, I mean using Nigel and Sandra not so much, but using your son's girlfriend. How can you call yourself a mother? He said, getting a glare from Narissa. And how would you know what it feels like to have a mother? Narissa asked, knowing his mother was dead from the time she went into his mind. Let her and Hunter go, Naruto said, deadly serious. And what would I get in return? Narissa said in a bartering mood. Your life, Naruto said, making some chakra rods, and soon felt a chill run up his spine as the ghost of Elian's mother went right through him. He thought, feeling so many emotions as he was afraid of ghosts, but went back to focusing on Narissa. Fine, you may take Alchemy, but I have no idea where Hunter or rather Yang is, Narissa said in total honesty as Yang was getting too hard to control and before she could siphon his powers he took off. Naruto glared at her as Alchemy cried out in pain as her powers were taken away and soon fell unconscious but was caught by Caleb before she hit the ground. You're a real piece of work, he said to Narissa as it took a special kind of evil to take advantage of your own child that way. Narissa merely teletransported away taking her knights as well. Later at Naruto's house. You clever bstrd, Naruto said as Caleb was at his house right now after dropping Alchemy off home and when he arrived he showed Naruto a ring, the mage's ring. How'd you steal it? He said wanting details. I tried stealing the necklace earlier, Caleb said confusing Naruto a little. But I told you that the necklace couldn't be taken that way. Why would Naruto was saying till he realized what happened. When you stole the necklace you used that as a cover and stole the ring, he said a little impressed as that was an impressive sleight of hand. What will you do with it? He asked as the magical item may have been weak in comparison to an Oromir but it was still a tool that can be used with a person with chakra. I'm gonna give it to Alchemy, Caleb said with certainty. Bold move my friend, Naruto said as most people would like to keep loved ones away from danger. Alchemy is good but remember she is green when it comes to combat even though she was Valkyrie for a short time, he said knowing this would be difficult for Caleb if Alchemy got hurt. Thanks, Caleb said as he took off using the ring to open a fold to Meridian. Hey before you go can I ask you something, Naruto said getting Caleb's attention. It's about Core and Shagan, do they seem familiar to you? I can't recognize their power. I wonder if they seemed familiar to you cause your mom used Nigel, Sandra, Hunter, and Alchemy people we know makes you wonder who those two are, he said as the list of names was short but he checked the people they knew and they seemed fine so either Narissa was blocking their power whenever she sent them back as the heart never picked up on Alchemy when they were in school. No clue about Shagan. That could be anyone and Core can be any kind of creature my mother found, Caleb said in exhaustion as that was a large bundle of confusing emotions he couldn't even begin to comprehend. Naruto sighed as that was no help. He waved goodbye to Caleb. With Narissa. Narissa was furious as her mage ring was stolen and she believed it was Caleb and she was feeling a mixture of pride and anger. Wyra, she called out to the ghost who was holding 2 spheres of light, at least something was done right. She said as when she was in Naruto's mind she saw the day he came here and found something very interesting and as she held her hand over one sphere she used the power of meridian flow into it making the sphere form into a ghost of Kushina Uzumaki who had the same look as Wyra and Cassidy. What is your name? She asked needing to know if she did this correctly. Kushina Uzumaki, Kushina said monotony. Perfect, Narissa said as Kisame's memories of Naruto's parents was astounding as the ghost woman before her was deadly in her own right with a blade. Now this one will be tricky, she said looking at Naruto's father's sphere as in Naruto's memories his father explained he used the Reaper Death Seal, a technique that would kill the user and whoever it was used on, sealing them in the Shinigami's stomach for eternity. With the small fragment I was able to restore the mother, but with the father I might be dealing with death, she thought in slight worry as facing death himself was terrifying. She soon followed through with what she thought and instead of Minato it was death. The Shinigami looked at the souls floating around as these ghosts were caught in the small gray area between life and death but didn't reap their souls as that wasn't his job to actively find souls like this as they were already reaped. I wish to trade the spirit of Minato Namikaze for this soul, Narissa said as she stole Luba's soul and held onto it wanting her to never find peace but being in the Shinigami for eternity seemed a much crueler fate. The Shinigami took a moment to think about this as he actually felt sadness for the pure soul inside him as Minato summoned him for the most noble reason added to the fact that Luba was older and a much darker soul who deserved punishment for all her misdeeds made the deal seem very appealing as Minato's soul was also incomplete when he reaped it as the man sealed it into his son. Luba's soul was soon manifested and before her was what she could only guess was death himself. Please, I only wish to do the right thing. She was stopped as the Shinigami swallowed her soul as he dealt with this type of person and knew they deserved hell. The Shinigami then cut his stomach and pulled out Minato's soul now fully complete. Narissa was fast to act as even though she knew he had no power in death he was Naruto's father which made him the deadliest person alive along with his son, quickly making him into the same state as the other ghosts. With Naruto. Naruto suddenly collapsed in his house feeling something was wrong with him, as did Kurama, but was unable to reach him. The Shinigami appeared before Naruto and bent down, as his seal was made with his parents' souls, and even though if they faded from it, the seal having the souls taken from it would cause instability, and he was only here to fix it for 3 reasons. The first being he didn't want anyone questioning his work with seals, and the second was he believed Naruto would cause peace to the world, decreasing the amount of death in the world or worlds in this case, and the third was he hated reaping the same soul over and over and hoped Naruto would break the cycle with Kakashi. I hate that we're stuck here, Sakura said as they had Naruto sterilize the ship before they stepped foot in it again, and I hate how the Guardians treat me, she said, hating the disrespect she was getting from them. You didn't make the best impression when you saw Naruto, Kakashi said as he didn't exactly like when Sakura punches Naruto, as most of the time he didn't do anything to deserve it. Sure, Tsunade did it once or twice, but they always butted heads and were related. You should try and find a middle ground, Iruka said, offering his own advice. That might not be possible, Kakashi said as he felt like they knew more about Naruto's life than even them. They seem to brush me off whenever I'm in the room, and when I asked Terane, I think her name is, she said I showed too much favoritism toward Sasuke, he said, as that was likely true and was glad Jiraiya helped train Naruto for the Chunin exams. How could they believe him so easily? Iruka asked, as being with a person for a year seemed kinda short to tell anyone so much about themselves, especially for Naruto. I thought the same thing too, but when I asked, well, the redhead said they entered Naruto's mind because he was in trouble one day and saw his memories, Kakashi said as he knew some of the things in Naruto's mind would seem bad to say the least. Iruka was silent as he wondered what could have caused that situation. Yeah, I also noticed something when I saw them fight. They didn't use hand signs for Jutsu Sensei. I sensed chakra but saw no hand signs, Sakura said as she was still perplexed by it, as were her senseis as they looked at her. Next day. Can I ask why you wanted to get breakfast so early? Will asked as her dad got her bright and early for breakfast on a Saturday morning. Can't a dad take his daughter to breakfast? Tony said with a smirk. No, Will said as her dad usually got her stuff as a bribe or took her to fancy places likes this to make her see things in a certain way. I raised you to be smart, all right, Tony said with a smirk as his daughter was like both him and her mother. So fess up, what do you want? Will asked as she was meeting the others at Naruto's later. Tell me about Naruto. I think a father should know a little about who his daughter is dating, Tony said as the detective he hired had nothing he could use. Okay, Will said as that was a bit weird for him. Few hours later. So you girls ready to start training with your new elements? Naruto asked as they had to delay training with Kakashi, Iruka, and Sakura arriving. Yes, they all said as they had wanted to use their new elements. Mind if we join? Kakashi said as he finished a gold edition, Make Out Paradise, and Iruka finished breakfast. Sure, Naruto said, not having a problem, unlike the girls who wanted to blast the one-eyed pervert. Alright, you all know how to work with each other and play off of each other's powers and how each other's work to a degree, so I want you to leak at me with just your new elements, he said as the girls transformed into their guardian states. Kakashi and Iruka were a little surprised as Sakura filled them in that they all used powers without hand signs and gained wings and had their attention completely focused on what would happen in this spar. This spar won't be as intense as the last one, Naruto thought, remembering the intense spar months ago with the girls ganging up on him with their powers coming in. These are new to them, so pretty easy, he thought, knowing getting used to an element was hard for beginners. Their stealth and atrocious, Kakashi and Iruka thought, as it was worse than Naruto's when he was an academy student. I'd recommend coming at me, Naruto said cockily until he felt water crawl up his body and hold him in place, and when a water body appeared he knew who it was. Will, he said in surprise, you took the principles of your lightning body and decided to do it with water, he said in realization. Yep, Will said as she kissed him before squeezing him like a snake does its prey. Sorry sweetie, Naruto said with a smirk, confusing Will till she saw she was beginning to steam. But I play to win, he said, sending her to the ground, her breaking apart in a puddle which went away to reform and soon felt a strong but cold wind appear. Too cold for Lin, Naruto said as he knew Lin's wind and this was too cold. Come on Irma, I know this little breeze can't be her, he said, then turning around catching her fists, smart, trying to manipulate the breeze from the opposite direction. You're good Irma, he said, as Irma was very tactful when she wanted to be. Thanks Irma said before Naruto threw her a good distance away. Naruto didn't have a minute to rest as flaming black earth spikes, possibly coal or maybe charred earth, rose up at him. That's weird. Terane has great chakra control. It's weird to see her fire and earth combined, and now that I think about it, I think Irma's and Will's first elements seem to be affecting their new elements, he thought, wondering where that would lead to with their elemental training, as he would have believed it was a Kekii Genkai. You ready to give up Naruto? Terane said as she was hiding a good distance away, expending a lot of power to manipulate the earth as she didn't have much control, but then felt a kunai on her neck and saw a Naruto clone holding it, knowing she then lost. Okay Cornelia, bring it, Naruto said as she was a close combat specialist like Will, but he had to be careful of her super strength. Hey Naruto, Cornelia said, dropping from the sky, sending a punch to him. Naruto couldn't completely dodge, so he had to redirect the punch, and when he made contact with her fist he felt a strong jolt of lightning. SHT, she doesn't have much control, but she's turned her hand into tasers, he thought as he felt a small sting when he touched it. Really don't want to know how she'll be when she can send it out more outwardly, he thought, thinking her fist would send out a blast of lightning in multiple directions. What's the matter? Cornelia said teasingly as she kept punching at him. She's wasting her power like a live wire, keeping up the lightning in her fists, Naruto thought, as keeping up the current was a bad idea unless she was backed into a corner or in a straight-up fist fight. He then caught her fist, not feeling anything. Sorry Cornelia, he said with a smirk. Cornelia was confused as she tried to send more power to her fist but realized she was tired and that she used a lot of power, meaning she was out. It's just you and Dash, Naruto was saying as a blaze of fire was fired at him and it exploded upon contact, and he soon felt the air around him was heating up. SHT, Lin's wind power must be equal to her fire, because if it wasn't I'm sure this would be weak, he thought, as weak wind increased fire and Lin's wind was nowhere near weak. Lin was suffering a little pushback as she was sending flames at Naruto, but when she fired it exploded upon the air. Dodge this, she yelled, sending a massive explosion of fire at Naruto, but was surprised when he grabbed onto her hands from in front of her and blushed a little as she apparently destroyed his shirt and he was covered in ash and soot. You're out, Naruto said, patting her head. Nice try Elian, to Sunny for my shadow to be that dark, he said as a shadow like spike came out of his shadow. If she was trained by a Nara she'd be even better, he thought, as he only worked with Shikamaru a couple times and had been on the receiving end of shadow possession, and wondered if Elian could mstr Een release, Yang release, and maybe even Een Yang release. I swear the things you know, Elian said as her shadow slithered away and she entered another shadow, taking in Naruto's advice. She's learning, Naruto thought, able to track her, but she was leaving a trail of chakra which made keeping sights on her difficult. Soon a shadow restrained his wrists and ankles. How was that? Elian asked, rising above in front of Naruto. Better, but, Naruto said, instantly breaking free of Elian's shadow restraints. Make sure you aren't being played and don't get too close to the enemy unless you're sure they're restrained, he said with a smile, pulling her into a quick kiss. You lose by the way, he said with a smirk. Irika and Kakashi were surprised as the girls showed an impressive amount of power that was comparable to that of a high jonin. An hour later. Naruto, you're telling me they were academy level when you started training them? Irika asked, as it was hard to believe Naruto trained these girls. Yeah, they know the chakra exercises and mastered them and their main element, and know how to perform certain techniques without hand signs, clones, and are working on elemental clones, and have learned the Rasengan and have began working on their elemental Rasengan, Naruto said as if it was a normal day. How exactly are you performing jutsu without hand signs? Kakashi asked, as seeing a person use one-handed hand signs are one thing all on itself. This place, these worlds all have magic, a thing similar to chakra, a source of power more on the spiritual side of things, but it has some physical aspects as well. When combined with chakra it allows you to perform certain things at an advanced level and perform jutsu without hand signs, Naruto said as he felt this was a reversal of roles, the student teaching the teachers. Who's the cloud ninja? Irika asked curiously, as that was something that was bothering him, as Naruto seemed close to him, but he knew the cloud had a lot of people who didn't like Naruto's father, but few there respected him. The only place in the elemental nations that hated Naruto's father with a passion was the land of Earth. Killer Bee, the Eight Tails Jinchuriki, Naruto said, surprising them. This place is probably the safest for them, Irika thought, as Madara couldn't find them here. Kakashi was thinking back to the wreckage as he heard rumors that the man had been furiously looking for him. Is there a way to attain magic? He asked curiously. A few, Naruto said, not intending to give them magic as he was intending to send them back, and magic becoming a thing in the elemental nations didn't bode well with him. Kakashi felt like he had been stabbed as he saw for a moment distrust in Naruto's eyes, and that hurt to an incredible degree. Next day. Hey, how did those photos come out? Tony Vandom said over the phone with a contact driving to his new home on a semi-private road. You never drive and text or answer phone calls unless using a handless device. As Tony was driving, it began to rain as it looked like a storm was coming, and as he talked over the phone and drove, he didn't see a large beast ran right into the car. Naruto's house. Kakashi was looking for a jacket or an umbrella to use as it was pouring, and when he found a closet he saw 3 jackets, each similar to one another, one a orange jacket with black flames with kanji saying, Kitsune, the second a red jacket and black flame with kanji saying, 7th Hokage, and finally a white jacket with red flames saying, 4th Hokage. Kakashi stared at the white jacket for what seemed like an eternity as he remembered his sensei. Later with Naruto. Will, what's wrong? Naruto asked, seeing the shocked expression on Will's face. It's my dad, his car crashed, Will said as her mom called her. Naruto hugged his girlfriend as he felt her unease. Few minutes later. Naruto was glad it was Sunday as they had no school, as he went to the location of the crash, sneaking around the police, and saw the damage of Will's dad's car, seeing something he was sure wasn't part of the crash, large claw marks, and made a phone call. With Will at the hospital. Hunter attacked my dad. Why? Will asked over the phone as Naruto called her. I don't know, but I can tell you Narissa isn't behind this, but it's imperative we get Hunter, Naruto said over the phone in worry. Why? Will asked curiously, as they knew Hunter was powerful and he was Naruto's dog. If Narissa gets Hunter it'll be bad. Remember, he has Sage Chakra, a power that is in a class of its own. If Narissa gets a fragment of that, the Knights will become more of a threat along with Narissa, Naruto said, as the Sage Chakra Hunter had, although smaller compared to his own, was still dangerous. Okay, but what about my dad? Will said, wondering if he'd be safe. He'll be fine. I have someone I need to see. Later at the bookstore. I'm gonna ask this once, Naruto said, pressing him against a bookcase. While I was gone you said Hunter ran away because of his powers, but you didn't tell me the full story, he asked, glaring at him. You didn't tell him? Oryub asked in disbelief. Well, we kinda got married in between the time before he came back, B said, as the man was already in jail. He didn't want to worry him. Spill B, or your BLD is gonna be on this floor one way or another, Naruto said with an intense glare. Okay, when Hunter got his powers he lost control and changed to normal, and was then taken by a person who arranges dog fights, B said, receiving a punch to his jaw. I want a name, Naruto said, as Oryub gave him a paper with the arrest on it, as she kept it just in case. Listen, I know you're mad and you have every right to be, but he got shot trying to save Hunter. Okay, Oryub said, trying to keep the peace. Naruto calmed down a little at that, but he was still pissed. Hour later. Naruto was shocked as he just broke into the jail holding the thug who shot B and looked through the man's memories using the human path, getting his memories, and when he did he saw the man's boss Mr. V, but the shocking thing was he knew the man as someone else, Tony Vandom, Will's father. Few minutes later at the hospital. No, that has to be a lie, please tell me you're lying to me, Will begged as Naruto showed up at the hospital and told her what he found out. I'm not, Naruto said sadly, as he knew this must have been painful to hear, as when they started dating she often spoke highly about her dad, and when her mom told him she was worried about her dad he knew what Will saw was probably an awesome dad, but in reality someone shady. If Will wasn't your daughter I'd let him rip you apart, he thought, looking at Tony Vandom asleep on a lot of painkillers. I need to make a call, He thought, as his tracking skills were decent at best. Later at the bookstore. Don't worry, I'm not here for round 2. Where's Kakashi? Naruto said as he saw B get on guard. Didn't show, Oryub said as he never came in. Naruto let out a sigh as he teleported home. Naruto's house. Hey, wake up. Naruto said, snapping his fingers as Kakashi was in his closet downstairs in a trance. Oh Naruto, sorry, what's up? Kakashi said, not knowing how long he was there. I need you to try something for me. Can you try and summon Pakken? Naruto said as he needed the dog summon but knew he would regret it, as then there would be a two-way communication via summon with the two worlds. Kakashi wasted no time attempting the summon and the summoning dog appeared. Naruto, is that you? We've been searching everywhere for you, Pakken said in surprise as the dog summons had been searching furiously for the orange-clad ninja. Yeah, listen, I need you to track this scent, Naruto said as he collected a few items belonging to Hunter, even his pillow dog bed. Who am I searching for? Pakken asked, sniffing the scent, memorizing it. My dog Hunter, and we need to find him immediately, Naruto said, filling them in. A sage dog? That's a new one, Pakken said as there weren't any sage dogs to his knowledge. And this Narissa person may be hunting him, and with the powers she already has, sage chakra on top of it all, is a very bad thing, Kakashi said as Naruto was an A-rank ninja without sage mode. With pain strength he was an SS rank threat, meaning sage mode made whoever had it a way bigger threat than they were. Later in the city. You guys see him? Naruto said over the comm as he got the rest of the girls in on this and tracked Hunter to a park near the hospital. Everyone confirmed as they all surrounded him. I thought you said he was a puppy, Pakken said, backing away from the giant dog. He is Hunter, buddy. It's me, Naruto. Remember, buddy, Naruto said as his animal friend growled at him. I'm sorry for what happened to you. I'm sorry for not being there, he said, seeing the look in Hunter's eyes change. So please come home, buddy, he said, hugging Hunter, whose growls turned into whines, giving into the hug. With Narissa. Perfect, Narissa said, opening up a fold and sent a lightning bolt connected to the heart of Meridian through. With Naruto. Naruto, look out. Will yelled as a fold opened up and bolt of lightning stabbed Hunter and him. Naruto, they all yelled in worry seeing him get stabbed. An hour later. OSHT, Naruto said in slight pain, I swear even when I'm not doing this CRP I still get F up, he thought in slight pain and saw a normal small Hunter on his chest in a similar state. Hey, Irika said as he was nearby. Where is everyone? Naruto asked curiously as he didn't think the girls would leave his side. After you were stabbed, Irika said a little uncomfortably, Kakashi brought you here as Narissa sent her knights to attack. The girls thought it'd be a good idea to get you away, he said as he had to agree. Naruto checked himself and Hunter and saw no stab wounds, meaning that lightning was something else. She might have siphoned us, he thought, as he didn't sense any dark power from Hunter and felt something was off. With Narissa. This is a rather interesting turn of events, Narissa said as she siphoned power from Naruto and Hunter, taking in Hunter's power into the heart of Meridian, and Naruto's flowed into his parents. Add in some of her quintessence, they were brought back to life, and to her benefit she saw Minato Namikaze had a seal exactly like Naruto's on his stomach. So these are the bastard's parents, Nigel said, looking at them not impressed. Naruto got most from his father but his mother's face, Sandra said, examining the parents. Why exactly do we need them? Shagan asked, not seeing the point. Narissa snapped her fingers and Naruto's parents moved quickly. Minato was behind Shagan and had him on the ground, a triple-pronged kunai in his back, while Kushina chained Sandra and Nigel, each wrapped around them, pulling in each direction. Okay, you made your point, Nigel said, finding it difficult to speak as each limb was being pulled. Narissa smiled as she equipped Kushina with Umbu gear and Rather's sword that was made of chakra metal and magic. She used her magic to make it into a katana, making the woman more dangerous. Then looked to Minato. You'll be most useful, she said as she knew he could teleport, meaning he was most useful even if he didn't teleport. Be ready, we will be heading to a place called Zambala in a few days, she said as Zambala was a place that would be difficult to scout. Next day. Naruto was currently taking the day off of school. As he was still healing, he looked out and saw Kakashi and Pakken, who was now stuck here as the summoning jutsu was apparently a one-way trip here, teaching him some ninja skills Naruto didn't know to teach him. He also saw Sakura burying herself in college medical books and had his laptop looking through this world's medical knowledge, looking like she hadn't gotten much sleep. "Shouldn't you be in bed?" Irika said, as the girls basically said he was to be bedridden, not even bothering to listen to Sakura's medical prognosis. "Aren't you supposed to be dealing with other kids in school?" Naruto asked curiously as Irika had a stack of papers. "Naruto, you were stabbed," Irika said, trying to get him to see reason. "Sasuke stabbed me," Naruto said as easily as breathing multiple times, "and tried to burn me alive, so I think I'm good," he said, walking away. Irika felt his heart ache at that, as he was informed of the retrieval mission, and no one's state was more worse than Naruto's. With the broken bones, damaged organs, made him actually pray that the Nine Tails, the thing that killed his parents, saved Naruto, the only family he had left. "This food sucks," a childish voice said from the kitchen, and when both men went and they saw only Hunter, who flipped over his dog bowl. "Pour some gravy on this," he said, making both men looked at each other. "Okay, talking dog, not exactly new but much of a surprise. Who taught you to curse?" Naruto asked, feeling a little concerned. "Uncle Pakken," Hunter said innocently. "Right, okay," Naruto said with a smirk. "Pakken, you're a dead dog," he said, hearing the dog run in the opposite direction. "The weekend. Get out, go away, stay away for a few hours and take Hunter with you. Here's some money, have fun," Elyon said as they shoved all the leaf ninjas out and gently handed Hunter to Kakashi. "Come back at your own risk," she said as all the girls made their elements come to life, then slammed the door on them. "What are they doing?" Hunter asked the three, knowing he couldn't talk in public. "I swear, kid, never lose that innocence," Pakken said as all the experienced adults knew what was going to happen. All the ninja felt something as they knew what was gonna go down in the house. Kakashi felt like crying in pride, Irika felt like he wanted to be so far away from the house as humanly possible, and Sakura was blushing up a storm thinking about what Naruto was about to do with 6 women. Naruto's driveway. "Can I assume the fog in my car is not because something is burning?" Naruto asked curiously as all the windows in his car were fogged up. "Well, something hot is going on in there," Irma said as smirk as she, Elyon, Terane sat on the hood of his car in bikinis. "So why don't you get inside?" she said with a knowing smirk. Naruto opened his car to see a naked Will waiting expectantly in the driver's seat and a naked Cornelia and Hei Lin making out in the passenger seat. "Took you long enough," Will said with a smile. "So making out in a car wasn't enough, you wanted to have car SEC?" Naruto asked her as she was getting bolder with SEC with every encounter. "Yep, so get in and get naked," Will said, looking at him as if she was gonna receive a show. "I swear," Naruto thought as he was getting convinced to do a lot of stuff. The moment he got in his car, naked Irma, Elyon, and Terane began washing his car, pressing their bodies. "I swear I'm living the dream," Naruto said as he and Will began making out. "And it'll never end," Will said, feeling Naruto's PP enter her PP. "So how long have you wanted to have car SEC?" Naruto asked Will curiously as she bounced on his PP. "Ever since my mom caught us making out in your car," Will said as when they got caught it thrilled her a little. "Ah, the early days before she was a pervert," Cornelia said, roughly manhandling Hei Lin's peach as said girl had her mouth latched to Cornelia's melons and was squirting a lot of juices. "You need to clean your car more, Naruto," Terane said, undoing her bikini top using her bare tips to clean his windshield. "He has us," Elyon said, undoing her bikini top, also doing the same to the back windshield. "How you like us cleaning your car, babe?" Irma said as she joined Terane in the front. "Go F them," Will said hotly. "I wanna see you F them," she said, feeling like she had a great seat and 2 girls to play with on the side. Naruto exited the car and went to Terane, pressing her front against the windshield, her tips being pressed into the glass. "I love it when we all get together," Terane said, licking her lips lustfully. "Why? Because we don't miss out on the action, or because you love when we please each other?" Irma still rubbing her tips on the windshield. "I think it's both, isn't it, you salty girl?" Naruto said, spanking Terane's peach, then ripped off her bikini bottom and began rubbing his PP between her ass cheeks. "Yes," Terane said happily. Irma slid her hand under one of Terranie's tips, pressed into the windshield and squeezed it. It's our fault for being so CC, she said, confident in all their looks. We need to do what we can to please our man, Elian said from the back, chiming in. So do your job, girls, and I'll wait my turn like Naruto's good little bee, she said, knowing he heard her. The four of them soon felt the car bounce a little, seeing Will, Cornelia, and Hei Lin have fun in the car. They seem to be having fun, Terane said with a smirk. Let's get started then, Naruto said, plunging his PP into her PP. So hot, Irma said as she was still rubbing her tips against the windshield. Still so tight no matter how many times I F you, Naruto said, thrusting furiously into Terane, spanking her peach. We train hard so our bodies stay tight for you, Terane said as the girls' new training regimen made it so they could eat as much as they want but still burn fat and keep their figures. I'm so lucky to have you girls, Naruto said gratefully. No babe, we're lucky to have you, Irma said, sounding serious. Well, I guess we all get rewarded in our own way, Naruto said with a smirk as he and Terane leaked together, and as he pulled his PP out he turned Terane over. Irma, clean this naughty SLT, he said with a smirk as Irma went to Terane's PP and ate it with gusto, and when she was done she looked at Naruto with a face that said she wanted more. F my tips babe, Irma said pleadingly, and to her joy Naruto was eager to grant her wish as he saddled himself on top of her. Terane fingered herself, enjoying herself as she watched Naruto dominate Irma. I just love being his plaything, she thought as she greatly enjoyed being used by him and watch him dominate the other girls. F babe, Irma said as he was getting rough with her tips and she was enjoying it greatly. Open your mouth Irma, I wanna see you swallow his load, Terane said as she increased her fingering speed. Irma didn't need to be asked as she opened her mouth waiting for Naruto to blow his load, and when he did it shot into her mouth, but some onto her face and tips. You stupid SLT, Terane said, getting on Irma as Naruto got off her, liking the juices that didn't get into her mouth. You had one job, she said, pulling Irma into a kiss, stealing the juices she collected. Irma in protest into the kiss as she lost all the juices Naruto unleashed on her. You haven't earned his seed if you can't listen where, Terane said as she rubbed her PP against Irma's. I told you to swallow his load and dash, she was saying till Naruto plunged his PP into her peach. I think you're forgetting who's in charge, Terane, Naruto said as he heard Terane scream in pleasure. You're both my SLTS, got it, he said, fingering Irma's PP. Yes, we're your SLTS, your juice dumpsters, your B2F whenever and however you want, Irma yelled out, enjoying Naruto's fingering Terane's assault on her tips with her mouth. She's right, Terane said, parting from Irma's tips and turned her head to look at Naruto. We're all your wares here to please you, she said, screaming in the end as she leaked but still felt Naruto yet to leak in her peach. I swear I can die like this, she thought as Naruto's stamina was insane and dying from SEC was a very pleasing way to go. Naruto smiled as Terane screamed in pleasure as he leaked inside her peach and she passed out on the hood of the car. Come on babe, I'm still primed and ready, Irma said, eager for more action. Don't worry Irma, we're gonna have more fun, Naruto said, walking her to back, sneaking behind Elian as she still rubbed her tips on the back windshield. Irma licked her lips seeing Elian's bikini-clad peach, then looked at Naruto, who just smiled at her. She approached Elian, glad she didn't notice them, as when she was close enough she grabbed one of Elian's tips with one hand and slid the other hand under her bikini bottoms and fondled her peach. You have a nice body, salty queen, she said with a smirk. I know, Elian said confidently. Naruto smiled and pulled Irma into a kiss and got her on her back, thrusting into her. Elian smiled as she removed her bikini bottom and got on top of Irma, making her lick her PP. This is a good place for you Irma, under me where you belong, she said as she felt incredible dominating Irma. Naruto pulled her into a kiss then spanked her peach. I wouldn't be so cocky, you're gonna be under me very soon, he said, making her blush. I love my life, Irma thought in pleasure as the pleasure and love she felt was indescribable as she and Naruto leaked together. Naruto then went to Elian, getting the queen off the water guardian, getting her on her back, taking her peach. Ekion panted like a bee in heat from the rough treatment and was blindsided when Irma kissed her and massaged her tips. I'm at their mercy, Elian thought, shamelessly enjoying herself. Naruto soon picked Elian up by her thighs as he stood up getting off the back of his car and dropped and raised Elian quickly onto his PP, making it go deeper inside of her. Irma didn't sit out as while Naruto took Elian's peach it freed her up to eat out the queen's PP. It didn't take long for both Naruto and Elian to leak, leaving the queen a little tired, so he placed her on the back of his car with Irma, leaving the two girls as they then kissed. "Hey," Cornelia said as she leaned on the passenger side of the car completely NDE. "Where's Hey Lin?" Naruto asked as when he left the two were making out. "With Will," Cornelia said as not much needed to be said after that, "so that leaves you and me for right now," she said, her PP quivering from that thought alone, and looked at his PP hungrily as she couldn't control the urge any longer and jumped, wrapping her legs around his waist. "I swear," Naruto thought as he kissed her, pressing her into the side of his car, "she's always so needy," he thought, not complaining as his PP entered her PP. "I've missed this, we've barely had a chance since the vacation," Cornelia thought, truly enjoying this, but that feeling lessened as Naruto slowed down and stopped, his PP still in her but didn't. "Why'd you stop?" she asked, feeling sad as she couldn't feel the pleasure. "Just to remind you, Cornelia, I'm always in charge," Naruto said with a smirk. "Yes, you're in charge, I know," Cornelia said in desperation, "so please give me what I need and use my body," she said as she felt Naruto began thrusting into her again, making her let out a fierce orgasm. "Naughty girl," Naruto said as Cornelia got her legs on the ground and Naruto got her on her knees. "Leaking before I do," he said, putting his PP to her face. "This PP never quits," Cornelia thought in pleasure as she began to kiss his PP, liking it as she basically worshipped it. "As much as I'd love a BLWJB, Cornelia, I'm going to need you to use your massive tips," Naruto said, wanting to feel his PP sandwiched between the two soft mounds of flesh. Cornelia smiled, happy that he loved her rack so much. "Glad my melons got an upgrade," she thought as she had nice melons before her body adapted to the physical form of her first guardian form. "I wonder how much Naruto will like having us in guardian form," she thought as her and the other girl's guardian form had even better aspects. "Thoughts for another time, better get to work," she thought, cupping her melons, smothering Naruto's PP with them. "I never understand how these things stay so soft," Naruto said, thrusting into her tips. "I think I do it, probably all the juices you spray on them, so why don't you spray them right now? Mark these tips," Cornelia said with a smile as she liked to be marked with Naruto's seed, to be absolutely soiled by it, and when he leaked on her he basically gave her a shower of juices which she let sit on her skin, liking a few droplets. "Oh Naruto," Hey Lin said with a blush and a smile on her face, sticking her head out from the back seat. "Me and Will are tired of waiting, we need attention too," she said cutely while also sounding a little salty. "Yeah Naruto," Will said next to Hey Lin, grabbing Hey Lin's peach, making her "Our girl over here can't stop gushing," she said as Hey Lin soaked Naruto's back seats. "Go while I wake up Terane," Cornelia said as she went to the hood of Naruto's car. Naruto entered his car, going to the back of his car, getting between Hey Lin and Will. Just as Hey Lin was about to get atop of Naruto's lap, Will pushed her to the side, taking her place. Will soon gained a smug and pleasured look as she bounced on Naruto's PP and stared at Hey Lin. "Start begging, my salty little Hey Lin," she said with a smile as Hey Lin was so very desperate for pleasure whenever she was having say with Naruto or the girls. "And please me as you beg," she said with a glint in her eyes as Hey Lin rushed to her and began kissing her wherever. "Please mstrs tell me what I need to do to get rewarded," Hey Lin said with a pleading look in her eyes. "Please me, my little toy, while Naruto F me," Will said, still bouncing on Naruto's PP, then pulled Hey Lin into a kiss and soon pulled away and kissed Naruto. Hey Lin got to work pleasing Will, immediately going for Will's tips, kissing them, eating them, and even pinched her tips. "You've been such a good girl, Hey Lin, don't worry, I'll take good care of you when it's your turn," Naruto said, kissing her cheek, then looked at Will and began kissing the base of her neck, hearing her of pleasure get louder as she bounced on his PP. "Let's try something new," he thought, biting into her neck, making Will scream louder in pleasure from the surprise, as she has never been bitten, but she must have liked it as she let out a large orgasm. Hey Lin was impatient as Naruto gently placed Will next to him. "Such an impatient girl," Naruto said as he knew Hey Lin was very eager right now. Hey Lin gave Naruto a cute begging look. You know, Naruto said as he cupped her face, every time you give me that look, he said as his other hand landed on her melons, I want to wreck you, he said with a smile. Please, wreck me F me till I can't walk, Hey Lin said beggingly, use me like the SLT you turned me into, she said as she knew she was a nympho, a sec addict and desired pleasure, but Naruto always seemed to quench her thirst. Wish granted, Naruto said grabbing her peach and shoved his PP into her PP. Hey Lin screamed in joy from her PP finally being filled with Naruto's PP. My little Hey Lin, tell me, what are you? Naruto asked with a smirk as he knew Hey Lin loved them all, but in bed she was aware deep down. A salty nympho where? Hey Lin said, screaming out in pleasure, having a smile as she demeaned herself, but only to you and my HRM sisters, only all of you get to see me be this way, she said crying in pleasure, then kissed Naruto's neck hoping to leave a mark. Poor Hey Lin, Naruto said as he knew what she was doing, this is how you leave a mark, he said growling as he bit her neck. Hey Lin screamed in pleasure as she bit his neck too, but Naruto didn't seem to notice that much as he leaked inside her and she unleashed her final fierce orgasm. Naruto smiled as he saw all his girls naked, relieved, happy, and loved. He made a clone and carried them all to his bed, also collecting their clothes cause he was sure if anyone knew what happened on and in his car, most would want his car to be sterilized or professionally cleaned. As the Naruto clones put the girls in the room, the girls smiled as there was another reason why they wanted to have a CC with Naruto in his car besides the hot idea of cleaning it mostly naked while they had a CC either on or in the car. It was mainly the idea of messing with Sakura, as they hated how she sat with Naruto in the front since no one wanted to sit with her in the back, so they decided to have so much SEC in his car that it was coated in all their juices. Few days later. I can't believe your parents invited me, Naruto said as they were in Taranee's backyard setting up for a barbecue. Well, you saved my life, I guess that entitles you to some perks, Taranee said with a smirk, still amazed that she healed so well from Naruto's BLD. I guess, Naruto said with a smile as he was glad he saved her life. Yo Naruto, we going or what? Peter asked as he wanted a game with Naruto. Go, I'll set up here, Taranee said as she knew her brother was persistent. Half hour later. I swear man you got skills, Peter said as he and Naruto taking a break. Your sister really likes this game man, Naruto said as he and Taranee played basketball a lot. I know she loves it even more than me, Peter said as he remembered when Taranee was a kid and he introduced her to the sport. Hey, thank you, he said as Taranee informed him that she was adopted and Naruto saved her life. You don't need to thank me, Naruto said as it was his pleasure to help someone, especially someone he cared for. No, I do. You saved my little sister, Peter said seriously as his sister meant the world to him. Please take care of her, he said knowing it was unneeded but felt like he need to say it. I will promise of a lifetime, Naruto said with a smile as he knew Peter was a good brother. Food's ready, Teresa said calling to Naruto and Peter. Few minutes later. So Naruto, what are your plans after high school? Lionel asked with a smile. I want to be a writer, Naruto said with a smirk as he had already began to write. At Naruto's house. What's this? Kakashi said as he was exploring the house and saw a room full of seals, and as a seal MSTR he could tell Naruto far outclassed him in this skill, but what caught his attention was 6 Ika books stacked on each other and saw they were titled Ika followed by an element, a different one for each book, and due to Kakashi's perviness/curiosity he began reading in the order they were stacked. Back with Naruto. Well, did you know what your parents did? Teresa asked as she knew she was approaching a sore subject. Naruto had a small sad smile and didn't know what to say. I don't know much about them, he said wishing he could know more about his parents. Next day at Naruto's house. The F is up with him? Irma asked Naruto as they were having a meeting in his house to brainstorm ideas for what Narissa was planning, and during this meeting Kakashi had his face buried in a good laughing like an idiot. Remember when I told you guys I decided to give writing a try? Naruto said whispering to Irma as she nodded, then smiled and gained a small blush as she pieced together what was in those books. Can we please discuss what my mother might be planning? Caleb said as he wanted to end this. Well, you said she's collecting spirits, Kakashi said, managing to pry his eyes away from Naruto's book. Whenever someone steals that or their body, it's usually to resurrect them, he said, as he always thought it was an insult to the dearly departed and a disgusting practice, as when resurrecting came into play it always had a cost. Can she be after the Rinnegan? Irika asked, as the Rinnegan was used to resurrect the entire Leaf Village. A few souls seemed like small change in comparison to that, especially if what he was understanding about magic came into play. What's he talking about, kid? Yen Lin asked as she was cooking as well as offering her wisdom. One of the Rinnegan's abilities is resurrection, Naruto said neutrally, seeing the shocked expression on all the non-ninja people there. As in, raise the dead? Hey. Lin asked, wanting confirmation. Yes, Naruto said, not wanting to lie to them, but it's a power I'll never use, as life and death are not something to tamper with, he said, wanting them to know he'd never use that power. But you saved Cornelia and my brother, Irma said, as they all knew he saved them. They were dying, Naruto said, wanting them to understand his point. When I repaired their bodies because they were alive not dead, he said, explaining the situation to them. She may not need your eyes, Oryub said in realization. Why? If she could bring them back as flesh and blood, wouldn't she have already? Sakura asked curiously. As spirits it may lower the requirements for a complete resurrection, Oryub said in a serious tone, and she has the power of quintessence, the power of life, and if that ability is powered by more magical energy not counting the chakra she has, she can fully resurrect them, she said in seriousness as she read history on the former guardians' powers, knowing the powers' pure basic principles of their powers. She has two spirits, Cassidy and Waira. It's more than that. Chakra, if used properly in certain ways, can return someone to their prime, Naruto said, as he had seen it happen before. She obviously wants all the guardians, he said, as everyone deduced that, with the two not counting Narissa herself in her possession. But why my mother? Elyon asked, not knowing how to handle that one. With Phobos in his state, Naruto said, as he didn't know how else to put what he did to him. Elyon is or was the only person who could take Meridian's power, but with Waira, if she's resurrected or can call upon that power as she is in spirit form, she can take control of the power, especially since she was a former wielder of it, he said, as Waira was the former heart of Meridian before Elyon. She could be trying to make her own light guardian, Kakashi said, as that was a theory he had, as she was probably trying to equal out the playing field. She took Waira before that, but she might take that idea with how Elyon is now, Naruto said, as Narissa had a crazed mind. Well, with who she has now, she will be after Kadma, Yen Lin said, knowing Narissa was saving her for last, as it would be all-out war with, as she knew that everyone would fight to protect her. And she's currently in Zambala, Oryub said, as she was told the previous Earth Guardian was in that world when the veil went up, and the current wielder of its heart, she said. That basically paints a bullseye on her back, Naruto said, as Narissa was in possession of one heart, had a fragment of power from the heart of Kandrakar when she was a guardian, and had all of Kisame's knowledge and all the chakra he collected while they had the power of two hearts. With the girl's power increase when they were together, he was at least worth a heart and then some with all his powers, so in terms of power they were currently more or less even in power, and if Narissa got Zambala's heart, it tipped the balance in Narissa's side. I want to go, Alchemy said with determination, along with B, Oryub, Hunter, Caleb, Kakashi, Irika, and Sakura. Naruto smiled as he almost forgot about them. B can definitely take the girls, but not without some damage. Hunter is as strong, was one of the girls when the girls' powers first evolved along with Oryub and Caleb. Alchemy was good, but not even near the power the girls had when he met them. Kakashi was strong in terms of chakra, easily worth two of the girls as they are. Irika was not as strong or skilled as Kakashi, but was indeed a skilled chunin, and Sakura was as strong as one of the girls as they were. I owe that bee for what she did to me, Hunter said with a kunai in his mouth. He can talk, the girls said in surprise. Let's go to Zambala, Naruto said, ignoring the situation as he opened a fold. B, Oryub, Caleb and Alchemy stay here in case of an emergency, he said, as a new situation was always popping up. Zambala. What is this? Naruto said, as when they landed there was nothing but dead land around them, the very ground below them didn't have any life. What happened here? Cornelia said, feeling her skin crawl in this area. I don't know, but we need to move now, Naruto said, seriously wanting to move far away from this place. Few minutes later. Whoa, Naruto said the moment he touched purple grass, feeling so much pure and powerful nature energy. I could go into sage mode instantly here, he thought as there was pure nature energy all around him, and then looked to Hunter, who felt the same thing going into his larger state. You okay, babe? You're looking a little purple, Irma asked curiously. Naruto wondered what she was talking about and quickly made a clone and saw he unconsciously went into sage mode, but his usual yellow eyes were purple and the usual orange pigment around his eyes were violet. This place sure likes purple, he thought, a little creeped out as he hated the look a little as it kinda reminded him of Orochimaru. Naruto, Kurama said to him mentally, something's here. That dead land you just left, that was caused by something dark, he said as if in a familiar tone. I can't sense it, the nature here is preventing me somehow, he said as he was picking up too much positivity, and even though it was nice, the dense nature energy made his in-tune senses with nature dull. Naruto understood as he felt blind, as he literally felt the same thing for miles, as if trying to sense a drop of something in a vast ocean. Hello Naruto, a voice sounding like Will a good distance away said, and when they looked they saw another version of the Guardians and Naruto. SHT, they're framing us, Naruto said, as that was the reason for transforming into another person if it wasn't to take some else's place. Smart boy, the other Will said with a smile. Wait, they have 7, Will said, noticing their numbers as they took back Alchemy and Hunter already, meaning Narissa got 2 replacements. Who'd she take? Cornelia asked curiously. Allow me to show you, Narissa said, dropping the glamour. Naruto watched as each ring went down on each copy, but when the rings came down on Naruto and Elian's copy, Naruto felt like he was gonna cry and was gonna have a severe panic attack as he saw his parents in flesh and BLD. The other ninja stared in shock, seeing 2 legendary ninja who died are now alive before them. The girls' eyes immediately went to Naruto as they saw him slightly tremble in shock and fear, knowing this must have sent his mind into overdrive. I told you it would cost you when you traded for Hunter and Alchemy, Narissa said with an evil smile. You, Kakashi said angrily, lifting his headband, his Sharingan glowing as he glared at Narissa. How are they here? Narissa thought, a little surprised as she knew who they were from Naruto's memories. Mom Dad, Naruto said, getting everyone's attention as he seemingly came out of his shock. Naruto's parents said nothing, having an emotionless look, not even reacting to their son. This made Kakashi even angrier as he saw the emotionless look in their eyes and how it affected Naruto. Their eyes, it's worse than his, he thought, thinking back to Haku as he stabbed him with his lightning blade, remembering the eyes the child he killed had, and that paled in comparison to the look on the people he considered family. What did you do to them? Naruto asked her, feeling his heart shatter, seeing no form of love or care in their eyes as he felt like this was a nightmare. Simple, when I resurrected their spirits I brought them under my control, Narissa said simply. I needed a way to make you less of an issue since out of everyone here. You have more power than all of us, she said, as that was the simple truth, as she had to always plan using Naruto's compassion for life in public areas so he'd restrain himself. My father gave his soul to the Shinigami, how on earth did you get it? Naruto said, a few tears escaping his eyes. I traded Luba's soul for his, Narissa said, as she was a little positive that they wouldn't miss the woman. The bee deserved a lot, but that's plain cruel, Irma said as Naruto explained to them the principles of the technique used to seal Kurama into him, and knew that was a terrible price to pay. Oh, but that's not all I received, Narissa said, snapping her fingers as Minato was soon enveloped in chakra mode much like Naruto's, but the colors were reversed. Minato's was black and red, and they all saw that the plant life around him was dying, seeing it spread like a disease. Naruto, be careful, she's somehow made a dark version of the cloak with your father's 9 tails, Kurama said, as he didn't think it was possible, seeing as a Jinchuriki would have just lost control, but since Minato was in his current state it gave him a new theory. Narissa might have sealed off all his good emotions and only left the bad, and since the yin half of me is my darker self, it might have amplified that effect, meaning Minato is now Naruto's opposite in terms of my tailed beast chakra. He Thought to himself, knowing this would get ugly immediately, as he knew what his chakra was capable of in its raw state, but never like this, as he wasn't just pure anger or evil like everyone thinks, as no one was, but what Narissa did changed that, meaning his chakra for the first time was even deadlier than it's ever been. "You guys need to leave now," Naruto said, as his father and he were on a level that the others couldn't handle. "Kakashi-sensei, you need to be the one to fight my mother," he said, knowing his mother was deadly, especially with the sword on her back that he recognized as Rather's sword. Narissa forged with chakra metal, despite it now looking like a katana, and he didn't like the odds of one of the girls facing his mother, as she had a lot of chakra due to her being a former Jinchuriki. Combine that with her skills, and her chakra chains made her deadly. Kakashi couldn't begin to understand what Naruto was feeling, but nodded, as he knew if anyone besides Naruto could stand up to Kushina, it was him. Naruto and Minato stared the other down and soon ran off at incredible speeds, seeing nothing but orange and black wisps clashing against each other as they ran off in the distance. "You're dead," Will said, staring at Narissa. "Oh," Narissa said cockily, thinking Will was just saying that. "You caused him so much pain with this, and I'm gonna make sure you pay dearly," Will said, as the other girls paired off with a knight while Elian was with the other ninja facing against Kushina. "With Kakashi. How do we take her down, sensei?" Sakura asked curiously. "You don't," Kakashi said, as he knew that his student, even though skilled, was nowhere close to Kushina's skill level, as Kushina was considered one of the strongest women in the ninja world, just under Tsunade herself. "Well, you'll need help, she's Naruto's mother," Elian said, knowing that alone meant she was powerful. Kakashi didn't know much about Elian besides what he saw when she fought against Naruto, but knew she was stronger than Sakura. "I'm helping too," Hunter said readily. Kakashi had to relent, as Hunter, even though having not that much experience, Sage Chakra was a game changer. "With Naruto. Naruto, you know you can't hold back, right?" Kurama said to him mentally, as he knew Naruto had punched his father, much to Kurama's joy, but fighting him like this was entirely different. "I know," Naruto said, as he looked at his father and went from chakra mode into Kurama mode, his father following his lead as his cloak changed and became blacker. "What are our chances?" he asked Kurama as he fought his father. 50-50, Kurama said, as even though Naruto possessed the Rinnegan and had improved upon Minato's own skills, Minato had more experience with them, and the Hiraishin was now useless as both of them could use it. "That sounds about right," Naruto thought, as his father was a genius and a prodigy in every right, "but I've been a Jinchuriki my whole life. Him on the other hand hasn't. He doesn't know what it's like," he said to Kurama, making the fox curious until he understood what Naruto meant. Naruto and Minato charged each other, clashing, a blast wave happening as the energies of opposing natures of good and evil fought. "Rasengan," Naruto said, as multiple chakra hands shot out his back with a Rasengan in each hand, hitting his father's sides. Minato never experienced a tailed beast cloak, so his chakra mode only helps his speed, but besides that it's only cosmetic, Kurama thought, as Minato, as he was working off of instinct, and since he never experienced the tailed beast cloak, made his chakra mode less of a threat. Naruto's chances may have increased due to this, but if Minato resorts to that, the advantage will be almost meaningless, he thought, knowing not to underestimate Minato or his chakra, especially when he was facing an equal amount to his own. "Rasengan barrage," Minato said, hitting Naruto in the chest. "SHT, that's what this feels like," Naruto said, as he was never hit before with his signature technique before. The only thing that came close was when he and Kakashi clashed his wind Rasengan against Kakashi's regular one. Minato soon charged at Naruto, throwing a Hiraishin kunai. "Please don't work," Naruto thought, as when his father used the Hiraishin, so did he, and teleported to his father's marker. "My Hiraishin is now compromised," he thought, as all his Hiraishin markers everywhere in the worlds were accessible to his father and therefore Narissa. "With Kakashi. I swear," Elian said, covered in dirt and sweat, as Kushina was putting them through the ringer. "How the hell is she this strong?" she asked, as she was using purely chakra and was kicking their SS. "Harsh training, Uzumaki BLD, former Jinchuriki, a Kekkei Genkai, take your pick," Kakashi said, as Kushina wasn't as strong as his sensei, but that didn't mean she didn't give his sensei trouble, as they sparred in their earlier years and he barely made it to that level even with his Sharingan. I swear Grandma, Hunter said, getting some smiles and laughs from the ninjas as it sounded like how Naruto would talk to Tsunade when he called her Granny. I'm gonna kick your butt, he said, charging right at her only to be struck with the blunt end of her sword, sending him crashing and breaking a few trees. We need to stop her somehow, Sakura said as she took time to heal whatever wounds she could between Elian, Kakashi, and Hunter when Kushina was distracted with one or two of them. To think Naruto's parents were this strong, Irika thought, as the stories didn't do them justice at all. He was brought out of his thoughts as a large explosion happened in the distance, gaining everyone's attention. A minute earlier with Naruto. I swear I'm gonna kick my dad's butt, Naruto thought as his father was kicking his butt with the Hiraishin despite him teleporting with him. We need to do a tailed beast bomb, he thought to Kurama. You can't in this state, Kurama said to him, as tailed beast bombs required positive and negative energy, and even though Naruto knew he had negative emotions, they weren't strong enough to gather the negative energy necessary for the tailed beast bomb to work. Your only chance to do it is with me, he said, as his emotions and Naruto's could gather equal amounts of positive and negative energy. We don't need to make it big, Naruto said as he focused his chakra and made a tailed beast bomb the size of a Rasengan and dashed to his father, and even though he dodged it he was still close to him, so Naruto detonated the tailed beast bomb, enveloping them both with will. The F was that, Will said as that explosion was big as everyone was shielding themselves from the strong wind that blew past them. I don't know, Hunter said as he pulled himself from the rubble, and I don't care, Granny over there is done, he said, unleashing a large howl that actually pushed Kushina back. Who dares? A woman said in a purple dress, appearing before them all. Kadma, good to see you, Yen Lin said with a smile despite the situation, as she was mostly spectating as she knew she couldn't provide any assistance to this fight. Okay, listen, my guess is we've been framed, she said, as that would be the only reason Narissa would use glamour. These guys had been masquerading as the Guardians, she said, pointing to the Night of Destruction. I know it was you, Yen Lin. Halaner was here. Kadma, I love you like a sister, but now's not the time for you to trust one friend over another, she said, a lesson she learned from Naruto. I know you're hard-headed, but you're not stupid, just look, she said, motioning to the fight that was still going on. Kadma did look and saw Yen Lin had a compelling case, as the Guardians fought people she could easily deduce as bad, and even the plants and trees around her made a case for them. With Naruto has finally gained the upper hand, Kurama thought in joy, as Minato was unable to gather Sage Mode due to his Dark Kurama Mode killing all the nature around him, meaning he couldn't go into Sage Mode. Naruto was a bit relieved that Sage Mode was having some effect in the fight, but he needed to focus as his father's cloak was making it difficult to maintain as it was draining faster, and he couldn't absorb his father's chakra as he didn't know what would happen to him and Kurama. But he didn't get the opportunity as his father was teletransported away. Hour later. Why are they bowing to them? Cornelia asked Kadma as the walking-talking trees were treating Naruto and Hunter like royalty. I am unsure, Kadma said, as even the heart of Zambala was pulling toward him. It's cause of Sage Mode, Naruto said, as their nature was probably more concentrated than the nature energy here. The Guardians understood immediately as they had seen the effect it had on animals. Seeing it work on trees didn't seem so far-fetched. Hour later, back on Earth. Your father is alive? B asked in surprise. My mother too, and they're under Narissa's control, Naruto said, pouring him B and Kakashi a drink of sake. B was in shock as Naruto's father was still to this the fastest ninja alive, and Naruto had told him that his father was faster than him using the Hiraishin. What are you doing? Kakashi asked as Naruto was writing a BLD seal around a Hiraishin kunai. It's a seal I'm making, I'm calling it a chakra BLD lock, Naruto said neutrally. What's it do? B asked curiously. It will lock my father out of all my Hiraishin markers, Naruto said, as anyone who knew the technique could teleport to the markers. How? Kakashi asked as the seal was ingenious in its own design. He didn't understand how Naruto could alter it to block off his own father. All the Hiraishin kunai I've made are made with my chakra and therefore linked, but they are still Hiraishin kunai all the same, meaning they're all connected, but this chakra BLD lock seal will put my kunai on a locked network only connecting to Hiraishin markers with my chakra, Naruto said, as that was the single thing that separate all Hiraishin seals and something he need to exploit. His father may have shared his BLD and similar chakra signature, but this seal would work for only him, not his father, and not even his kids until he undid the BLD seal. B and Kakashi were impressed by Naruto's skills with seals, as that was ingenious in its own right. "We need to stop my parents," Naruto said in seriousness, as his parents, even one of them, was a threat. "I've fought your father before, but even though I can fight him I'll still lose," B said, as even though he had more or less the same chakra amount as Minato, Minato had more skills than him. "They don't even have magic and we're screwed," Naruto said, as that was the situation, as his father had less chakra than him and they were still even when they fought. "You trained under him, any weakness he had?" B asked Kakashi. Kakashi would have normally been angered by such a question, but seeing the situation they were in made acceptable in this instance. "None that I could find," he said, as his sensei was too skilled for him even now. "And the fact that he's a Jinchuriki now adds to that problem," Naruto said, taking a big swig of his sake. B and Kakashi were still baffled by that, as one of the most skilled ninja in their world being a Jinchuriki didn't sit well with them, as they knew it made Minato Namikaze now a bigger threat. "You have the Rinnegan and all your father's techniques, doesn't that make a difference?" B asked, as he knew the Rinnegan was able to be beaten from what Naruto told him about his fight against the original bearer. "My dad has a little less than a decade of more experience than me and had used the techniques we share longer, so he can use them better and in better succession," Naruto said, as even though he was skilled with said skills his father could use them just as well or even better, as the man refined his skills in his shinobi career. "And my Rinnegan, despite being good, I've had it for only a year," he said, knowing if he was in a metaphorical battle with Nagato with the Rinnegan, Nagato would win. "The only thing I succeeded my father in was completing his Rasengan," he said with a small laugh. The Vatrian shinobi sighed, as they knew he was right. Few days later, Will was currently walking to Naruto's angrily, as she had just saw her dad, and as they enjoyed a nice swim in his pool he showed her clearly doctored photos of Naruto with Sakura, saying he was cheating on her with Sakura, a thought that made her laugh. But what truly upset her and made her grit her teeth was her father sunk so low, then threatened if he ever did that again she'd change her last name to her mother's maiden name and she'd forsake him as her father. Little while later. "You okay?" Naruto asked, as he felt Will's anger as they talked about handling Narissa in Zambala. Will smiled and kissed his cheek. "Kinda," she said, not wanting him to worry. "Listen, you can talk to me," Naruto said, wanting her to know he'd be there to comfort her. "I'll be fine. If it gets worse I'll definitely tell you," Will said, wanting to handle this herself. "If you're sure," Naruto said unsurely, as they opened a fold to Zambala. Few minutes later. "I'm sorry, I think some of us got a little lost," Naruto said, chuckling a little. "You want to absorb Elion's power, the power of Meridian, into one of the two hearts on our side," he said, wanting to make sure he was following. "Yes," Kadma said in certainty. Yenlin said, "You were hard-headed, not an idiot. If you know this, then so does Narissa. She would have protected it against that in some way," Naruto said, as he was sure Yenlin would have mentioned it if it was something only she knew. "You disrespectful, that's enough, Kadma," Kadma was saying till Yenlin interrupted her. "And we can't take it back anyway, as Narissa has Waira," meaning Narissa could take it back whenever, Yenlin said, as it would have been pointless to even try. "Narissa is here, she won't leave unless she has your heart," Naruto said to Kadma. "There's nowhere the forest reaches," Kadma said with confidence. "With my dad she can kill the very land they walk," Naruto said, as his father's cloak did just that. "Well, that explains so much about his parents. May be strong but are weak-willed," Kadma said, being sent crashing into a nearby wall by Naruto. "Let me make something clear," Naruto said angrily, "my parents aren't weak-willed and your friends the former guardians are also under her control, so what's that say about them and you?" he said angrily. "Should we stop them?" Cornelia asked Will curiously. "Not a chance," Yenlin said easily, hearing them. "Kadma is very hard-headed, so I think someone even more hard-headed can deal with her," she said, as Kadma was a good host to her, but Naruto was like another child to her, so the choice of who to side with was easy. "Besides, she insulted our future in-laws, so no way," Terane said with a smirk. "Plus she said I didn't deserve my power," Elian said, enjoying this. "We should have brought popcorn," Irma said, knowing this would be amazing to watch. If you ever insult my family again, you won't have to worry about Narissa, Naruto said with a glare as he wouldn't stand for any disrespect to his family. Kadma would have said something if she didn't see Narissa teletransport near them. I would leave Naruto, Narissa said with a smirk. Why in God's name would I dash, Naruto said stopping mid-sentence as his father in chakra mode tailed beast state was preparing a tailed beast bomb, SHT, he said as he transformed into his tailed beast chakra mode quickly rushing to his father right in the line of fire. This is beyond anything I've ever felt, Yen Lin thought in slight fear as this power was mind-boggling. I swear Kurama, is there any way we can beat this thing? Naruto said as a tailed beast bomb that big will very likely kill most of the people here if it detonated. Stop it, no, redirected another matter entirely, Kurama said as it was possible for a tailed beast to redirect tailed beast bombs but it was even more possible when the chakra belonged to said tailed beast. Well, it's do or die time, Naruto thought as his father fired it and as it got close Naruto brought up chakra Kurama's hands and lifted the bomb up as it pushed him back and as he adjusted the angle he fell back to it could go up to its new course. The tailed beast bomb made it a good distance above the temple but when it went off, everyone saw the explosion and was sent flying as the backlash from the explosion was huge. SHT, Naruto thought feeling sore and saw his father was gone. Narissa is insane, he thought as that would have taken everyone besides him out. She knew I could stop it, he thought in realization. This was a ploy, he thought running back to the temple seeing everyone was okay but noticed two particular people were gone. Kadma, please don't be that stupid, he thought going back to normal sensing them out and as he ran to their location he saw that Kadma absorbed the heart of Meridian. See child, nothing to worry about, Kadma said in pride sounding cocky. Oh yes old friend, Narissa said teleporting the staff to her that then changed Tila transporting to Kadma holding the staff to Kadma's face making the woman like Naruto's parents and the former guardians as she then Tila transported away. Yen Lin's next, Naruto thought sadly as he knew this would worry Hei Lin, and now Narissa has more power than us he thought as this made things worse for them. Naruto's house a few hours later. Naruto had readied a guest room for Yen Lin as everyone agreed this was the safest place for her with B and Oryub staying here as well. He went to the kitchen with a smirk as he just heard someone pick the lock to his door. Amateurs, he thought, then heard some clicking. Guns, he thought as he could dodge a few guns in his regular form but weapons that were automatic were hard to evade constantly. Two men with masks walked into Naruto's house heading to the kitchen seeing a light was on and as they stealthily moved and they saw it was empty and as they were about to move out the room they felt a breeze hit them. They were brought out of their thoughts when they saw a small dog holding a kunai in its mouth growl at them. What the F? One of them said as this was bizarre. You two are the shittiest killers ever, Naruto said as he knew they were here to kill him as the guns they were using wasn't that of a common thief. They aimed their gun at him pulling the trigger to their guns multiple times only for it not to fire. Naruto held the firing pins to the guns in his hands as these he used chakra mode to steal it from their guns. An hour later. I hope you know sir I'm pressing charges, Naruto said talking to the chief of police himself as a familiar police officer. The blonde detective who investigated him when Elian went missing was one of them men trying to kill him. I apologize sir, this was never an issue. This detective had shown no signs of such behavior, the chief said as the detective was very high ranking in the department. Yeah, I'm still suing as this is both attempted murder, possible stalking and harassment, and targeting, Naruto said seriously as the chief left with his officers. Naruto went inside his house going to an attic as the second thief was tied to a chair bound and gagged as Naruto didn't turn this one over because this person was Daniel Ashcroft, Nigel's brother. Naruto's house. How long has he been training? Will asked as Naruto's backyard looked like a war zone. 2 straight days, Irika said as Naruto was training more than ever before. He's hurting, Kakashi said as Naruto often focused on training as a way to ignore or delay the pain. Seeing Sensei and Kushina like that, he thought somewhat understanding Naruto's pain. I can't believe he's done so much in 2 days, B said as Naruto was practicing multiple Kekkei Genkai elements increasing his performance at an alarming rate as he was able to use wood, ice, and lava at an advanced level. Will looked at her fiancé sadly, then gained a look of pure rage as she thought to the source that was causing his pain. Narissa, she thought angrily as the woman crossed a line using her lover's parents against him. Hour later. Eat, Yen Lin said, leaving no room for argument as she called Naruto inside. Naruto complied and entered his house, sitting down quickly eating his food. No advice, he asked her as he expected to hear some words of wisdom from the former guardian. Kid, I know a lot, but I don't know how to deal with this, Yen Lin said, as dead loved ones coming to life being used against you was not something she even knew where to begin with handling. They're still in there, she said, as magic that controlled people were tricky to deal with, but knew a person needed to be fighting for control. I know, Naruto said, as the bodies of his parents were mostly empty shells, but deep down he knew they were still themselves at their core. Listen kid, family is hard whether they're BLD or the one you make, Yen Lin said, as BLD didn't always make people family. Ain't that the truth, Naruto said, as certain bonds he had bitten him in the butt at certain times and knew the girls had problems with their individual families at times. You'll free them, Naruto, for that I have no doubt, Yen Lin said, as she had total faith in Naruto. Thanks, Naruto said, as that actually made him feel better as he went to the attic. Attic. It'd be a real PP move to have this guy be arrested, Naruto said, as Nigel's brother gave him all the information he needed and collected some footage on where Will's dad had paid them, and with how Nigel was now the guy had enough problems, he then wiped the man's memories and dropped him off at a random location. Few minutes later. Will was furious, trying to contain her anger as Naruto told her what her father attempted to do, and to say she was angry was an understatement. He's gonna pay, Will thought as Naruto handed her a flash drive with the information giving her the option on how she wants to handle this. He's not getting off that easy, I'm gonna make him suffer, she thought with fury as she would use the flash drive after she destroyed her father's life. Everyone in the home was brought out of their thoughts as the ground rumbled slightly and they saw the Knights of Destruction outside. I thought you said you put a barrier up, B asked Naruto. I did, Naruto said, as his barrier might have been up but it was being unraveled. My parents, he thought, as both of them were seal masters and strong enough to break the barrier. Hope you guys have a good head start, he thought with a little worry. With Kakashi. Kakashi was currently carrying Yen Lin, being followed by Sakura, as Naruto instructed them to get Yen Lin far away from any fights. Where do you think you're going? Narissa said, with Nigel in tow. How'd you find us? Sakura said, as she was sure they weren't spotted when they left. Someone here is letting out a lot of pain and guilt, Nigel said as he consumed the emotion. DMN Naruto said they feasted on negative emotion. Kakashi thought, thinking his guilt for not being able to help his students' suffering was the cause of their location being compromised. Nigel stared at the three enemies and his eyes narrowed at Sakura as she was letting out the most pain and guilt. Is he talking about me? Sakura thought as she saw Nigel's look toward her. She had been feeling terrible about herself as the girl's treatment toward her was a result of the treatment she gave Naruto. Over the years they've known each other and she couldn't stop beating herself thinking she couldn't even be called his friend. You mind going away? Yen Lin said as she was nervous what Narissa would do to get her, as she was spiritually safe from Narissa but knew her armor would crumble if the people she cared for were threatened. Apologies old friend, but you will be coming with us, Narissa said seriously. Not gonna happen, Kakashi said, unleashing his covered Sharingan eye. Narissa gained interest in the eye as she knew the man had vast information inside that eye. I wonder, she thought, her twisted mind going to work. With Naruto. I swear this explains so much about you, Will said as she was fighting Minato while Naruto fought his mother. Like what? Naruto asked, dodging his mother's sword. How you are so crazy strong and do the SHT you do, Will said as her fiancé's parents were unbelievably strong. Trust me, it'll get crazier, Naruto said as his parents were considered legendary ninja for a reason. Will would have retorted but the parents disappeared. SHT, Naruto thought, looking in the direction Kakashi left and seeing smoke rise. We'll call the others while I try and find Yen Lin, he said, folding away. Few minutes later with Hei Lin. Hei Lin felt vile come up her throat as she saw Az and BLD in the area the smoke was rising from, as she had found Sakura still alive but her stomach was ripped open. With Kakashi. I'm gonna kill you, Kakashi said as he was in restraints looking at Narissa with pure rage as this woman brought people he cared about back from the dead as puppets using them to hurt their son his student and had Nigel rip open Sakura's stomach and he didn't know if she was dead or alive. Please, Narissa said as many have claimed that, spored Lartza, she said making copies of Kakashi and Yen Lin, quintessence, she said as lightning enveloped the two copies. Why'd she copy you? Yen Lin asked Kakashi only for Narissa to answer her when she cut off the copy of Kakashi's head. There we are, Narissa said removing the copy Kakashi's Sharingan. Kakashi only saw red as the Sharingan that belonged to his best friend was being taken by this vile woman. The man of 1,000 jutsu, Narissa said as this eye was extremely valuable to her and then used her power and transferred the eye replacing her left eye. Mind filling us in, both Yen Lin's, asked Kakashi. My left eye is a Sharingan eye. It basically copies and stores everything it has seen, Kakashi said as he used his Sharingan for his most dangerous fights or when he trained or tried to learn a dangerous enemy's techniques, and with how my life has been and what that eye has seen Narissa just became even more deadly, he said and was surprised when a white transparent-like flame began to burn around Narissa. This power, Narissa said as she laughed maniacally. No, Kakashi said as he had heard rumors about this but was never able to accomplish it himself as he thought he needed two Sharingan eyes to do this, the Susanoo, he said as this was an ability available to those who have awakened the Mangekyo Sharingan in both eyes. How bad have things gotten? Both Yen Lin's asked looking at the other a little annoyed. Tremendously worse, Kakashi said as the white flames took shape into bone-like armor. With the girls. What are we gonna do? Hei Lin asked as she was panicking from what could be happening with her grandmother but also with the fact that Sakura was on the ground slowly dying and bleeding. We can put her out of her misery, Oryub said as this damage was bad and even with Sakura somehow trying to heal herself this damage was severe even by magical means. The girls actually considered that as they didn't like Sakura for a magnitude of reasons, but she didn't deserve to die. Let me see, Cornelia said as she had been learning from Sakura on how to heal better as she hadn't learned on how to improve upon her healing powers. With Naruto. Naruto was currently in the Meridian Forest face to face with his mother, so Narissa sent you, he said as this was a surprise and a bit unexpected. Kushina just stared blankly at Naruto and slowly drew her sword. This is gonna SCK, Naruto thought as his mother was the last person he wanted to fight. Naruto be careful, Kurama said as Kushina never used his chakra but knew her skills were a force to be reckoned with. I know, Naruto thought as he asked Kurama about his mother and her sword skills made people like Zabuza and Kisame seem like amateurs. The mother and son just stared at each other then charged. Don't look, Naruto thought to himself as he was avoiding his mother's eyes as he couldn't look at her and not see the kindness and love they had when they last met as he knew it would break him. First BLD, Kurama thought as both of them had cut one another Kushina cutting his left arm while Naruto hit her side, they are undoubtedly mother and son, he thought as their skill and combat style was similar. I can't win like this Naruto said dropping his kunai and stood perfectly still. What are you doing? Kurama asked Naruto wondering if he had a plan on taking a blow to strike a critical blow. I'm not gonna fight her, Naruto thought as he was sick to his stomach fighting his mom and ashamed he shed her BLD. Naruto don't this your mother will kill you, Kurama said trying to reason with his friend as his mother pulled back her sword and dashed to Naruto. Naruto didn't even wince when his mother thrusted her sword into him, he reached to her pulling her into a hug crying a little as he never thought he'd get to experience this. Kushina began to cry as well her pupils shrinking and increasing erratically. Holy SHT I honestly didn't think she'd get you, Nigel said appearing before them, guess I'll take you both out, he said raising his hand to shoot a fireball and when it made contact his flames Kushina had raised her sword the force from her swing dispersed the flames and disappeared from his vision. You have nice wings, Kushina said behind him gripping both wings, it's a shame that you're gonna lose them, she said as she began pulling them hearing the bones pop and flesh tear soon the wings being ripped off Nigel's back. Jesus, Naruto thought as that was brutal to see and almost felt slight pity for Nigel as he fled through a fold. Naruto, Kushina said, looking to her son with tears in her eyes from joy, which then turned to shock as she saw the massive BLD stain in his clothing. I did that, she thought, feeling like she was gonna vomit as she harmed her son. Mom, Naruto said, knowing where her eyes had landed and understanding that she was freaking her out. It's fine, I'm okay, he said as he was trying to calm his mom down. Few minutes later. What happened? Naruto said as he folded home to get to the girls, wondering if they found Narissa, but saw Sakura on the ground. The girls would have answered if they didn't freeze up seeing Naruto's mother. Okay, enough, Naruto thought, activating his Rinnegan, fixing Sakura's body quickly. Mom, where is Narissa? He asked his mom, as she would know, as the mind control didn't mean she wasn't conscious. Kushina quickly answered Naruto, and he folded away, leaving them all behind. So which one of you is dating my baby boy? She asked curiously. 1, 2, 3 nodded, all the girls minus Sakura and Oryub said as they also stepped back. Wish I had a camera, Oryub said, as this was gonna be hilarious. With Naruto. Can I ask why you aren't attacking? Naruto asked the Knights of Destruction. They didn't answer and had a look of fear cover their faces. Something is very wrong, Naruto thought, as this seemed too easy as he walked inside, seeing 2 Yenlins and his sensei in restraints. Hello Naruto, Narissa said, looking at him. OSHT, Naruto thought, seeing Narissa activate his sensei's Manjikyu Sharingan. Naruto, be careful, she can activate the Susanoo, meaning she might be able to use Amaterasu as well as my Kamui, Kakashi said as Naruto had seen some of the abilities of the Mangekyo Sharingan firsthand. And I'm a quick learner, Narissa said as she materialized a white bone arm swinging a sword. We are so screwed, Naruto thought as he knew what the Susanoo was, as Kurama had informed him about it, as Madara equipped it onto Kurama in the fight against the first Hokage. He was blindsided by his father attacking him, and that makes it even worse, he thought, as Narissa was stacking up on power, and with the knowledge his sensei's eye possessed, she now had techniques and knowledge that could cause a lot of problems. Amaterasu, Narissa said as she made black fire appear. No BLD, Naruto and Kakashi thought, as using the Mangekyo Sharingan abilities caused the user's eye to bleed from the strain. Now Naruto, I'm going to give you the chance to surrender, Narissa said cockily. Naruto was now uncertain of his chances of winning, as Narissa had so much knowledge and power that compared to his and the girls they were outmatched. Don't give up, kid, one Yenlin said, getting his attention. I know you can't take this nutcase down, you just need to believe in yourself, she said with certainty in her eyes. Naruto then smirked, taking in her words, then took a deep breath in and went into Kurama mode, expanding his chakra, grabbing hold of Kakashi and the Yenlins as he then entered tailed beast mode, causing the cave to explode, destroying the mountain. Any chance she's dead? Kakashi asked rather hopefully. She's a cockroach, she'll survive anything, one of the Yenlin said as Narissa was a survivor. Naruto kept his eyes on the rubble and soon saw his father in tailed beast state burst through the rubble, his tailed beast body having bones on the outside acting like armor. I always hated that SHT, Kurama said as he didn't like the Susanoo armor. You need to be careful, Naruto, the Susanoo isn't a joke, it's something that can go toe to toe with a tailed beast in combat. Narissa is using one of its weakest forms, so you'll be okay for now, he said, as this wasn't going to be a good or easy fight. Naruto charged his father and began exchanging blows with him. Keep them still, Naruto, I'll blast her away with my Kamui, Kakashi said, readying his Manjikyu Sharingan. What's to stop her from doing the same? One Yenlin asked curiously. Despite her abilities, she doesn't have my practice and control with this technique, Kakashi said, glad that his skills with the Manjikyu Sharingan couldn't be copied. But she can still do it, so work fast, Naruto said, not wanting to leave anything to chance with Narissa. Kamui, Kakashi said, a swirling space soon appearing near Narissa. Kamui, Narissa said, disrupting the hole in the air. Really hope this SHT doesn't kill us, Naruto thought, as messing with time and space was both simple and dangerous if used incorrectly. 2 holes appearing in space doesn't sound comforting, he thought, as 2 forces like the Kamui facing each other wasn't comforting. This doesn't look too good, one Yenlin said as the 2 holes in the air were expanding. These things are basically feeding now, Naruto said with an uncertain Look, the constant conflict with fighting with itself must have made them unstable, he said as they sucked up everything close to them. I can't stop it, Kakashi said with slight terror. Neither can I, Narissa said as she couldn't open a fold. These things are basically black holes, Naruto said activating his Rinnegan, so in theory they're using gravity to SEK in everything, so if I can cancel it out I might be able to stop it, he said focusing his chakra. And what if you can't? Narissa asked knowing he was uncertain. We all die because we're fighting a literal law nature, Naruto said as his gravity powers were their best and only bet to save their lives. This is gonna SEK, he thought as he made 2 planetary devastation spheres and sent them into the hole, sending the gravity outwardly instead of pulling it in. The 2 spheres caused a massive explosion of force, sending everyone in some direction. Later. You look like SHT, B said as Naruto looked like he had seen better days. Thank you. How is everyone? Naruto asked curiously. Not sure how to respond to that, Hey Lin said as she was staring at 2 Yenlins. Naruto, Kushina said in a serious voice, what did Jiraiya do? She asked him. I'm sorry, you need to clarify. VERYYYY did a lot, Naruto said as he wasn't in the mood to do 20 questions. How did he corrupt my baby boy? Kushina said, pulling him into a hug with tears coming down her face. She knows, Naruto asked the girls who nodded. Okay mom, VERYYYY didn't corrupt me, I'm actually engaged to them, he said needing to defuse this now. Kushina seemed to pause at this and then squealed in excitement and then looked at the girls seriously. I want you all to know 2 things hurt my baby and I'll give you a fate worse than death, she said with a smile. And the other? Will asked as the girls were a little frightened by Naruto's mother, thinking she was less scary as their enemy. I want lots of grandbabies, Kushina said with an innocent look as if she was daydreaming it. The girls blushed from that thought, thinking about the activities in making said babies, and they all unconsciously brought a hand to their stomach, holding it over their womb, thinking about what their children with Naruto would be like. As fun as this is, we need to be ready. Narissa just became a much larger threat, Naruto said as she possessed 2 hearts, a copy of his sensei's Sharingan with his knowledge techniques and whatever else, her knights, and former guardians. Well Kushina was saying till Hunter jumped on her lap, and who are you little cutie, she said petting behind his ear. Hunter grandma, Hunter said innocently, making Kushina stop in her petting and look at the husky curiously, wondering if he considered Naruto his father or if he thought she was old. Few hours later with Will made up her mind as she prepared herself for what she was about to do. Babe, are you sure about this? Irma asked Will seriously. What will this do to you? Terene asked as what Will asked of them may be something she can't handle. I don't know, Will said, not really caring. Can I be the one to point out this is insane? Cornelia said in hysterics. Are you sure you can do this, Will? Hey Lin said as she didn't want her friend to do something she'd regret. Yes, Narissa needs to die, Will said with certainty. And it's gotta be you, huh? Elian asked with a blank look. Take it from a girl who tried to kill her brother. Killing is an easy line to cross but a hard thing to live with, she said as she was still feeling guilt for what she almost did. I don't care, Narissa has taken and hurt so many people, especially Naruto, that be used his parents against him, and I can't see him suffer like this anymore, so I'm gonna kill her, Will said as she saw Naruto and Kushina have a heart-to-heart and saw the saddened looks they had when they talked about his father. The girls nodded and soon did what Will had asked them and transferred their power into her. Will felt a rush from feeling her friend's power in her, then began running. Zambala. Narissa was currently in the temple of Kadma used when she ruled and was practicing with her Sharingan, trying to adjust to the eye's power, and was brought out of her thoughts as Will appeared before her. And what do you want? She asked curiously as she wondered where the others were, as with the heart of Zambala she would have sensed them enter. You dead, Will said with hate in her eyes as she dashed to Narissa and grabbed her, opening a fold to Meridian. Now it's just us, no knights, she said neutrally. And you think that's a good thing, Narissa said with a smile. You came to me alone, this is perfect, she said happily. And I'm gonna kill you, you withered up hag, Will said as she unleashed the power inside her, letting lightning pour out of her. I thought something was different about you, Narissa said as when Will got her through the portal with her speed she thought she had gotten faster but this power was something else, you siphoned of you friends I'm impressed, she said with a smirk. True but unlike you it was given to me I didn't take it, Will said as she then blasted Narissa, now get up scum, she said angrily. Not bad but, Narissa said before exploding in smoke, I'm still better, she said from behind Will as her hands moved at blinding speeds and made a water dragon appear from a nearby stream and go to Will. DMN, Will thought as she forgot that Naruto told them Kakashi's eye had so much information on techniques, don't think that just because you know something it means you're better, she said as she raised her hand turning the water dragon to vapor. You possess the power over water? Narissa asked curiously. Right she doesn't know, Will thought as they didn't use their secondary element in their fights yet. No answer fine, Narissa said she activated her Manjikyu Sharingan. No way, Will said as she used her lightning body and began moving in breakneck speeds, her eye can predict my movements, but she can't react at the speed of my movements she thought as Kakashi informed them that the Sharingan could predict an enemy's movements, but that didn't mean the wielder could meet that person's speed. Narissa was having a hard time keeping track of Will as she was moving faster than her Sharingan could track. Take this, Will said grabbing Narissa's hand using her free hand to punch her in the face repeatedly. Narissa unleashed her Amaterasu making black flames appear randomly. I touch that I'm dead, Will thought as Naruto told them that these black flames burned everything they touched to pure ash, catch B, she said throwing lightning at Narissa. Not bad, Narissa said as she channeled lightning to her hands a small string of lightning linking the two. She knows the lightning blade, Will thought a little pissed at that as Kakashi told her the Chidori only surpassed the lightning blade with speed, and I don't like what she doing, she thought as she saw Kakashi do the same thing with a clone seeing Narissa do it with both hands didn't seem good whatsoever. Boom, Narissa said as the current between her hands sent out a massive energy field sending Will flying back, you forget Will I have been the guardian of quintessence for years my skill was superior to yours to begin with and thanks to this I may as well be considered a goddess of lightning, she said as her mind through this eye has been open to new possibilities. You may have been a guardian longer but that doesn't make you better than me, Will said as she enveloped herself in lighting and ran in a large circle around. Narissa having a trail of lightning. And what makes you think differently? Narissa asked rather smugly. I never killed a friend over a temper tantrum, Will said her voice being distorted as she was moving so fast Narissa couldn't see her but her lightning. Watch your mouth child. Narissa said angrily wanting to blast Will. How's it feel Narissa? Will said tauntingly, to be so alone. Having people not want to be near you. Having to brainwash people, corrupt people, to be hated by everyone, especially by Caleb, your own son, she said laughing a little fooling Narissa's anger. Silence. Narissa yelled out unleashed more Amaterasu flames and lightning. Not gonna happen, Will said as she went at Narissa punching her faster than she could follow sending her to the ground. You're pathetic what do you hope to accomplish? Narissa asked smiling through the BLD coming out of her mouth. Your death, Will said as she stabbed Narissa with a Chidori only for the woman to turn into lightning causing Will to scream. You poor fool I switched with a lightning clone, Narissa said as she switched with one after a blast from Will using a replacement jutsu with a clone. Yeah well guess what Narissa, Will said but couldn't say more as Narissa stabbed her in her chest as she began bleeding from her mouth. Nothing cause you are dead, Narissa said with a smirk then something unexpected happened, Will had exploded in BLD, what dash, she was saying till something stabbed her from behind piercing her lung. That was a BLD clone, Will said walking from behind her, thank you Kushina, she thought as the woman had used many techniques when Narissa had her under control and Will asked her about some and her interest was piqued by the BLD clone as it took a small percentage of the user's BLD to make a clone. Please mercy, Narissa said pleadingly as another clone of Will put a blade to her neck. Release Minato, Will said as she literally had Narissa life in her hands. Narissa summoned her staff and it glowed for a moment. How do I know you did it? Will said as she didn't trust Narissa. Narissa raised her hand and a fold opened revealing Minato who seemed conscious. Which of your students became a jonin first and when? Will asked as she asked Kakashi about Naruto's father. Kakashi Hatake during the Third Shinobi War, Minato said, answering the question perfectly. Oh, thank God, Will said with a smile, but stopped as Narissa began screaming, sounding like she was in anguish. What's happening? Minato asked Will. I don't know, Will said as her Sharingan went into Manjikyu Sharingan and glowed a bright red, creating a vortex from it, destroying Will's clone. I've seen this before. Get back, Minato said as he and Will moved back as Narissa was swallowed into the vortex. Okay, that is a new one, Will said, a little confused as this wasn't something she was expecting. Trust me, knowing how this type of thing works still leaves you confused, or more confused as how a person does it is the real mind boggler, Minato said as he was an expert on time and space ninjutsu, theory, and seals, and finding out how something challenged or manipulated those properties was the real mystery in further understanding those theories. I'm Will Vandom, Will said, introducing herself, extending her hand. Minato Namikaze, now can you tell me where we are exactly? Minato asked, a little confused. You're in another world called Meridian, Will said, seeing him make a confused face that was much like Naruto's, making her smirk. Okay, let's step back. I know your son Naruto, she said, seeing the man quickly ask about him. Naruto, is he okay? Minato asked in urgency. He's fine. What do you remember? Will asked as Kushina had distorted memories when she was under Narissa's control. Nothing, I died, Minato said as he remembered he sealed the Nine Tails in his son and himself. OSHT, Will said as Kushina remembered bits and pieces, but Minato seemed to remember nothing. Let me take you to him and Kushina, she said, opening up a fold. Minato jumping through it without hesitation, like father like son willing to walk blindly in the face of danger, she said as Naruto definitely took after his parents. So alright folks, that's all for today. Stay tuned for part 16. Do subscribe, like and share for more such videos. Also check out the story in author's pyrohelixdrago, KFB Anime 87 on fanfiction.net. Press the bell icon to be notified first on release. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.